Welcome back, fight fans. We're back for another one. Back from eh, the last Apex card in a while. How about that? Uh, which means we're going to be talking about, oh yeah, UFC Vegas 77, home, Bueno Silva. So we're going to be talking about that. Then, of course, we're going to be taking a short break and then talking about UFC London. I'm assuming that's what we're calling. I don't know. There's so many UFC Londons at this point. I don't know. Are we just, I don't know what we're doing anymore. I don't think they actually individually have a name. It's a UFC card in London, Aspinall, um, Tybura. Had to think of the other person. Whatever. UFC London. That's what we're doing. And yeah, it's looking like a pretty good card. And this actually was a pretty good card to watch, We maybe talked a little bit of shit about the main event. Um and the fact that it's, compared to the other cards recently, maybe not great, especially after UFC 290. I mean, holy shit. So, or 289, 290 fight week, international fight week, whatever that one was. Anyway, lots of weird shit happening on the card. So we'll talk about some of that. And yeah, we'll jump right into it. So that opened up with um I had to remember her first name, Ashley Evans Smith and Eileen Perez. Going into that, I mean, seemed pretty clear that Perez should have been a fairly significant favorite. And that's exactly what happened. She proved herself to be just that. Maybe regret not putting a little bit more on Perez considering the situation, but I will say, I mean, you can't get too crazy, especially when you're talking about somebody that's brand new and lost their first fight going against somebody who, yes, hasn't been that great, also pretty, older, also not great style matching up, but you never know when they haven't been fighting for that long. What have they been doing in that time? Did they get like way, way better? You never know. And of course, like I said, Perez lost the first time. So didn't want to get too crazy, which meant that I did balance it out a little bit. Still, did go for Perez decision. That actually did cash in anyway. So that was at plus 162. That cashed in. So already we were in the green in that first fight. That was 2.62 units. So that's 0.62 up because then, of course, we made the other bet, which was under 2.5. Not really sure if she was ever close to getting that finish, but worked out and we got the win. So 0.62 units of profit after one fight in. Great start. And the way that fight went, I mean, it went exactly how you would kind of think it would go with those factors going into it. Let's say Perez just dominant with the grappling. I mean, Evan Smith really never had much of an answer for that, never really got a whole lot going. So, oh, and then of course, Perez actually ended up getting a takedown record, a record number of takedowns for the division. Did not write down how many that was. I think it was about 10 though. It was quite a few. Um so that's really cool for her. And of course, the dancing after the twerk. I mean, like the translator Fabiano couldn't even focus on the translating, my guy. I mean, goodness. Amazing though. I was hype. Love that. Hope she can do that every single time. Love it. Love it. Also, I mean, really cool personality. Clearly just a bad kind of matchup in her first fight. It happens. It's her debut too. I mean, you never know. But yeah, came back in big with this one. Amazing to see. Then we had Deaton the Third and Munoz, as we think it's still Munoz. Again, there's no accent on the end. There's no H after it. So is that still Munoz or is it Munoz? I don't know. But we're gonna say Munoz anyway. So we went with Munoz decision. Seemed like a fairly clear favorite in there. So again, we had to lower these odds down. Oh, that's right. Actually, I should mention that. I did actually go into this with maybe a slightly newer, a slightly different strategy. I wanted to see if it was going to work out like that. So what I did was I got specific on all of the favorites. So if they were a favorite, I went specific and lowered the odds, and then I balanced it out almost every single time with the over under, with an over under. And I mean, it worked fairly well. I mean, you'll see that it worked fairly well. And it even worked in that first matchup, like I said. So I got specific with the answer with Perez right away, and that put us up zero point 0.6 units right away. So it definitely did work for the most part. For the most part. Then it kind of fell apart near the end, and that's where we're gonna discuss where that maybe went wrong. What we could maybe switch to take advantage of this even more. But I will say, like I said, it really was working for quite a while. So Perez decision. So that put us at zero point 0.6 units. So yeah, so Munoz, we put it down for Munoz decision. That was plus 150. Um, and that also cashed in. So that was plus 150. That is 2.5 units back. So that's another half a unit up. So that really, 2 fights in, and we're already 1 unit, over a full unit up. Because yes, the other one did not cash in. Because again, I was splitting it up here. I was splitting it up. So I was really taking advantage of the odds on one side and just maximizing the odds on both sides. Essentially, that's what I did. So I did both the same thing. I did decision for the favorite, and then I went under 2.5 for the over under. So you figure one or the other is probably going to cash in. And it did. Like I said, it did in this case. But yeah, so then obviously that the under did not cash because the decision did cash in. So that means, like I said, 1 unit up, 2 fights in. That's fantastic. How the fight went though, yeah, honestly, it was really close. So I was actually getting a little worried that this one specifically was not going to cash in because it looked like Deaton might have been cashing in that decision for a little bit there. But again, we got past it and we got the money. But pretty tight in round 1 and 2. It was really slow. It wasn't one of the best fights of the night, that's for sure. It was pretty close. Seemed about one, seemed 1-1 going into the third round there. And then what did we have? Oh yeah, then it was very clearly in the case of Munoz. It seemed like probably a 10-8. So after the third round, it was like, okay, well, I think we're fine now. And like I said, we were. Um, yeah, I can't really say I was hugely impressed by him at all, but he got the win. So there you go. Yeah, and that brings us into Tyson Nam and Maxim. And what did I say about that? I specifically said I don't think that oh yeah, Azat, that was his name. I don't think that Azat's going to be able to go in there and just steamroll through Tyson Nam. I don't think that's going to happen. So how I balanced that out was either Nam as the veteran gets the win, and it was pretty close, or Azat is going to get the win and it's probably going to go longer. So that's what I banked on. And again, that played out perfectly. I mean, Nam was doing well, so I thought, oh, maybe we actually could get Tyson Nam cashing in as the underdog. We could get that here. And then I put in the over 2.5, which was at plus 110. Nam did not get it done. I actually almost thought, oh, we're going to cash in both on this one. Did not happen. Nam did not get the win, but we did get that over 2.5, which was, like I said, plus 110, which means you get 210 back, which means we're up another 0.1 units, which means we're still a little bit over a unit up at this point. And I even wrote down here, it was pretty close in the first and the second round. So pretty similar to the fight just before this, that it was pretty close. Not as boring though, obviously. And that maybe Maxim was ahead from the activity. It was really close because I mean it seemed like Nam was definitely hitting him harder, but Maxim was being slightly more active. I mean, I really could have seen this going either way. And then Nam swept his legs out a few times. So I was like, oh man, he could actually be winning some of these rounds. He swept out his legs. Maxim on his knees a couple of times, landed good a couple of times. Nam won the third, I think pretty clearly. It did end up as a split decision. So, like I said, I mean, we're one judge away from cashing in plus 300 on Tyson. Plus 300, that's what he was at. So, I mean, if we get one more judge going that way, not only do we cash in the over, we also cash in an extra 3 units on Tyson Nam. So that's literally how close we were to getting in the green here. Although I will say, kind of agreed with the decision. I did go with Maxim, um, 2 rounds to 1, but like I said, it was really really close. That one was, I could have really seen that going either way. I would not have been upset either way on that one. But in terms of the betting, I was a little upset because I will just say right now, we ended the night at minus 1.96. Minus 1.96. So right there, that tells you literally if Nam actually does get one extra judge's card. So literally just that one extra judge gives him that, we are looking at another 4 units on top. Truly, that's literally another 4 units on top, which means that's 2 units in the green. So just that one matchup alone could have swung us into the green. Didn't happen though. So kind of sucks, but ultimately, I will say that was the fair result that Maxim, I thought, won. But again, very, very close. Then we had Renato Valdez and Evan Elder. I had to think of what the guy's name was because I'm looking here. I only put the last names down in my notes here. Elder. So what did we do? We went, instead of going with the decision, because now we're looking at the opposite results, they tend to get finishes. I went the other way with it. I went Elder KO on this one. I didn't go finish. I went KO because did not seem at any point like he's ever going to be a submission guy. That seemed, I mean, that's just obvious when you're watching him, but also when you're comparing the two guys, and also when you're looking at their past history, that he definitely had way more KOs. So KO made way more sense. And that brought the odds down to plus 105 because he was at minus 200 something, maybe even minus 300 something. So again, that really does bring down those odds. Did not get the KO. In fact, he got the decision. So, but what I did do is I took the over 2.5, which was at plus 175. And I did that because I also thought that Valdez had a chance to win by decision, which means they both had a chance to cash in the over, which makes that the right pick. So like I'm saying, I think I played this really, really well going up to the main card. The main card is where these fell apart, but I cashed in a bet every single fight until the start of the main card. So like I said, we were doing really well. It just fell apart slightly at that point. And so I think we should really be looking how I'm organizing the prelims here and try and take that into the main card. And maybe we can figure out where I went wrong too. Or just got really unlucky. That's true too. I mean, that happens. It happens. But anyway, so Elder KO, that was plus 105. That did not cash in, but the over did cash in. That was over 2.5, plus 175. So 2.75 units back. That puts us up another 0.75 units on the card for that. And how did that fight go? Well, it was pretty obvious that Elder won rounds 1 and 3, but he got dropped really bad in the second. So it seems pretty clear that he got it was a 29-28, and that's exactly what happened. So again, played that pretty well, and we are about 2 units up at this point in the card. So going pretty well. I like it. Then we had Melquizael Costa, Austin Lingo. Figured Costa was going to get it done pretty early there. That's what I thought anyway. So I went Costa finish to bring down those odds. that was at plus 165. Balance that out then with the over 2.5. That was at minus 120. So it was a minus money, but that was the one that cashed in. So thankfully I did take that. And we did I mean, didn't make profit on the matchup, but we got that money down. Got the losses down to 0.17. So we only lost 0.17 on that one. So still way in the green on that one because we got 1.83 units back off of that minus 120. That doesn't make up for the one other unit in the Costa finish. So 2 units minus 1.83, like I said, that's 0.17 down. So not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And Costa looked really good the whole time. I mean, he easily could. He definitely. I was thinking, okay, he might get a finish here for sure. He might get it done here. Wednesdays have become so busy for me. That is okay, R&R. That is a okay. Show up when you want to show up. Just, keep putting in the rounds on Tapology. And yeah, we'll get there. Going pretty well, I would say. I mean, I actually looked back, and you know what? You actually undersold yourself on that one. What happened with the first 3 matchups we did? I did not win 2 of them. We tied one of them. You won one of them, and I won one of them. I think. I think that's how the first 3 went. So now with this one, I believe I am 2-1-1. So it's pretty close. It's pretty close. But last week, wow, that was wild. So many people got. I thought it was crazy how many points people were getting because I thought I was doing pretty well. I got to like 500 points, I think, before the main card. 2-1-1. Yeah, yeah, you take it, man. I mean, it was close. It's close. It's close so far. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I think I had like 550 points before the main card, and then the main card just didn't get much going out of that. I was in the top, I think the top 100 up until then, and then it was like, oh, I'm not really getting too many points anymore. I thought I picked results that everybody else took though, so I was expecting to still be in the top 100-ish, but yeah, that didn't really work out. So even though I did do really well on the card, I did not do as well as I thought compared to other people. I lost a couple of my leagues there. As soon as those decision bonuses came in, yeah, yeah, yeah. It was also there were a couple matchups where I was like, oh, okay, that's interesting. You didn't take that person. Now I can't remember who that was. There were a couple because I don't normally look through to see, oh, what did you take? What did this person take? But this time I actually did. I'm trying to think of who you took. I think you also took Sadikov. Um, Oh, or did I take McKinney on? I took McKinney on one app and not the other, and I changed it the last second. I think I had him on. Yeah. This was one of my worst weeks for Verdict. Thankfully, because I don't know if you noticed, I didn't know this was going to happen, but the season 2 doesn't start until UFC, the pay-per-view. I didn't know that. So that which is good because I got destroyed on Verdict MMA after literally posting on Twitter like, yo, I came in 6th, in the MMA hour, came in 2nd on these other ones, get absolutely destroyed in the first week back. Barely got any. I think I got like 500 points or something like that. I got absolutely annihilated. So thankfully that happened in the week where there is no Verdict stuff. That was good. Or the Verdict stuff doesn't matter, I should say. There was Verdict, but it didn't count towards the season. I'm so happy that happened. Because yeah, I would have been pissed if that's how I started season 2. I was thinking, oh, yeah, I did okay, but I want to start strong. Yeah, because that's actually what happened to me this season, the like season 1. The first card of the year, I got like no points. So I started like 15 or 20 of those point things. So what is it called? I think they're just called points. I can't remember. So yeah, I started like 15 or 20 points back of everybody because I just did terrible the first card. So I was like, no, I started season 2 the same way I started season 1. Oh my god. But yeah, thankfully doesn't count. It's a practice week. We're all good. But yeah, I had Sadikov, and the craziest part is I actually had, now I forget how he won. Was it KO or sub? But I had the exact right thing for Sadikov, and then I was like, no, I think McKinney's looking good. I think I maybe we're hyping up Sadikov a little too much. I'll give McKinney the benefit of the doubt. So I switched it to McKinney and got fucked up. They're starting 1v1 now. I think the way that I looked into it anyway, I'm pretty sure if I read it properly, 1v1 is actually a paid thing. So you have to put down like you could enter for I think it's like $3 or $5, depending on how much you want to put down. Because I saw a couple other ones that were like $100 1v1. So I think they're all money though. I don't think there are any free 1v1 ones, or else I would definitely do 1v1s against anybody. But yeah, I don't think I really want to put a bunch of money down on there yet. When I get more money, maybe I'll start doing stuff like that. But yeah. Anyway, nice to see you again. We will continue the card here. Oh, really? You didn't like McKinney much? I love McKinney. He's definitely got a great personality. Love the guy. I love the excitement, the talent. But I understand the confidence though. I used to be confident. Yeah, no. Maybe after, we give it a couple more years and really take down, or not years, like at least 1 year or something, to, get super confident about how to put the points down, then we can put some money on it. But anyway, but the confidence, yeah, I totally understand. Um I had supreme confidence in him until he lost to Bonfim. Then I was like, "Oh, okay. Now I see what's happening." Because before, I mean, like, even what he did with Dober, that Dober fight was wild. That was crazy. So even that fight, he lost, but I was like, "Oh, okay, he's still really good." I mean, he almost beat Dober. But then the Bonfim fight, I was like, "Oh no." Like he was kind of doing well. Then he got knocked out cold with the flying knee, but even he shouldn't have even been in that position to let that happen. And I mean, he's got so much it's crazy because he's got so much skill, and that's super obvious. I mean, like, he's really crisp and clean. He's got so much power, and he's got the wrestling, he's got the submissions, but it seems like I think it might be the fight IQ, or maybe it's just not putting it together properly. I don't know what it is, but yeah, I definitely don't have the confidence in him, which is why I did actually put, like I said, on Tapology, I did have Sadikov because of that exact reason. I was like, for some reason, I feel like Sadikov is going to get this done. But um, we'll get into that fight later. Because we're still on. What was I talking about? I think it was Costa. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Costa looked good the entire time. Lingo never really showed too much. So that was kind of what I expected, which is why I thought he was going to get a finish. I was a little surprised that he didn't get one. And that in itself, I mean, that actually did lose us a little bit of money right there, for him not getting the finish there. Because if he would have gotten the finish, that's plus 165 compared to the minus 120. So we did lose a little bit of money there. So, I mean, the system works well for minimizing losses, but when you don't get the better result out of the two, because as long as you get one of the results, you should be okay and you should make money or at least be really, really close. But when you don't get the better results and you tend to get the worst results out of the two most of the time, the profits start to get a little bit lower and lower. And that is kind of what was starting to happen to us here. So that brings us into the Estela Nunez and Victoria Dudakova fight. And man, that was so disappointing because I know how good Estela Nunez is. Like, every time I watch her, I'm like, oh man, she's so good. She's got insanely good stand-up skills. And then so it's just like this one moment happens in each of those fights, and then it's like, oh, now it's going downhill for her, and then she ends up losing. It's really sad to see, and she seems like a cool person too. I would love to see it if she like, oh, her in the PFL or something. My God, she would do so well in the PFL with that kind of style, the striking, the knockout style. She would do so well. But I don't think they don't have her division though, so I don't think she could anyway. Anyway, I didn't read what you said here. He has gotten overconfident. Yeah, I actually think that you're partially right about that. That he was getting overconfident. I think that he's so fucked up at this point. Like, I don't know. Like, I mean, again, maybe it doesn't even enter his mind at all. We could be crazy, but to me, I think he was overconfident, fought Dober, and then was like, okay, it's Dober. He got me. That makes sense. Then he went to the next fight, and I think he got the win in the next fight, I believe. And then it was the Bonfim fight. Figured, okay, this guy's just coming into the UFC. He's pretty skilled. I'm gonna take it a little more cautious, so I don't get overconfident and crazy. But because he's not used to fighting like that, he's not used to fighting cautious. He's not used to fighting a little smarter. It wasn't working out for him, and then Bonfim caught him anyway. So it was like, oh, he should have just gone his usual crazy route. And then now he's thinking, well, fuck, now I got knocked out for being cautious. So do I go back to being the crazy guy? So it seemed like he was then trying to overcorrect now the other way. It seems like he's just overcorrecting back and forth. Like he got too overconfident, then he got too cautious. Now he's getting maybe possibly slightly overconfident again, and then got caught and his arm was stuck behind his back. The fence grabs from Sadikov, that wasn't great either, to be fair. I mean, I think it's for him, it's like, I don't think he knows what to think now, what mindset to go into a fight with. I honestly don't think he knows anymore. And he changed camps too. So I mean, like, there's so much going on. I mean, like, you need consistency. You need to get like 2 or 3 wins in a row. I think that's what he needs. He needs like 2 or 3 easy ones, which is why I do think he probably will get cut. I think they'll give him one more, to be fair, because I think he's so exciting and they know that he's got a crowd. I think he will get 1 or 2 more fights. But that's kind of what he needs, I think. He needs 2, 3 wins in a row, because it's like, I honestly think, and maybe maybe he's overthinking it. Maybe we're overthinking it. I don't know, but there's definitely something weird with even like, yeah, just the mindset of it. Because yeah, I really do think it seemed like you were saying that he was getting overconfident, but then I really felt like Bonfim, he knew that he couldn't be overconfident in that fight. So then he went maybe too far in the other direction, a little too safe. And then, didn't get enough activity going. So Bonfim didn't necessarily respect him and then got knocked out with the knee after that. I'm not sure. It's tough to tell. I mean, like, people watch these fights on TV and they're like, oh, this guy got knocked out. But they don't really look into like, well, why did he get knocked out? Like, is he just not good? Or did he just have a weird mindset going into the fight? Was he injured going into the fight? Like, there's so many things that go into these things that a lot of people don't really think about. And sometimes it really doesn't affect them and we're overthinking it. So yeah, it's tough to say, really. Well, it's impossible to say. Anyway, so yeah, it really depressing with the Estela Nunez fight there. I mean, like, what was that? 30 seconds in or so? Fuck. you know? Um I mean, it seemed like Dudakova was going to just get her game going right away, because we know as soon as Nunez usually gets taken down, that's kind of a wrap anyway. She can get out of it and get back up eventually, but it's like that she just keeps getting taken down and then it's over anyway. But I mean, like, still, you want to see more than 30 seconds of what she can do. I mean, like, it's just ridiculous. So that really sucked. And that was a gruesome injury too. That was one of the worst ones I've seen in a while. That was really bad. That was tough to watch. So what I did there was due to COVID decision, that was plus 200, and then balanced it out with the under 2.5. And I did that because Estela Nunez definitely live for a KO for sure, because we haven't seen Dudakova's striking at all. Still haven't. uh, so I figured, okay, well, Nunez could get a finish, Dudakova could get a finish. I'll take the under, which worked out. That was minus 105. So that's 1.95 units back. Technically, that is a loss. That is 0.05 units down. 0.05. I mean, it's 5 cents if you're doing $1 a unit. So it's not really a big deal. But again, it's still a tiny bit lower. To me, I would call that even more than anything, really, though. So still definitely okay with it. I mean, we're basically still like 1.5 units up. We're still in the green. You can't be upset about that. You cannot be upset about that. Then we had, I believe this was the featured prelim. Yes, it was. Yeah, the featured prelim, Melsick, Tucker Lutz. I thought going into this, I was pretty confident that Melsick was going to be winning this, and to the point where I thought that he was probably going to get a finish. It didn't happen. I don't know if we're just overestimating how good Melsick is. I feel like maybe we are at this point. So maybe a little cautious going forward, but it still worked out for this one. I went with Melsick decision. That was plus 200. So, which is exactly why I'm saying, like, this is why you need to, I would say, get specific in every single favorite. If they're a favorite, you should be getting more specific to bring down the odds there. So that's what I did. And it cashed in. So that's 3 units. 3 units for that one bet. So already that puts us up 1 unit of profit for that matchup, which is good because then I balanced it out with the under, with the under 2.5, which of course would not have cashed in if the decision did cash in. So another unit up in the green. So that's, I believe, like about 2.5 units or so up in the green going into the main card. So I was pretty confident. I was like, oh, this is going pretty well. I like this. It's going well. Oh yeah, how did the fight go though? Um, I thought probably got the first with the grappling, which is why I'm definitely getting concerned with how good Melsick actually is. Because if you're getting out grappled and you lost that first round to somebody that's not really that great, like it's not, nobody's ever saying like, oh, Tucker Lutz is going to be that next top 10, top 15 guy. Nobody's saying that. So to get kind of to lose the first round by grappling to somebody like that, that's not ideal. And then Melsick started to win more so after that, especially on the feet. I mean, that's obviously where the difference came in, was on the feet. And but yeah, Tucker never really did damage with the grappling though. I mean, when it came to the end, I thought it could have gone either way. But personally, I thought Melsick pretty clearly won because, like I said, there was no damage going on for Tucker Lutz. So that is who is okay. I thought I was going insane for a second, and it wasn't actually Tucker Lutz he was fighting. Um, that happens sometimes. Yeah, but the announcers, I mean the commentators, they were making it sound for sure like, oh my God, Lutz is winning this fight. He's taking it over. I think that's because they were probably thinking Melsick should run away with this, so they were a little surprised when he was getting out grappled. But like I said, Lutz wasn't really doing any damage, so I thought Melsick pretty clearly won because of that, and thankfully the judges thought so too. So like I said, Melsick decision cashed in, 1 unit up on that matchup. Fantastic. So we're up, like I said, a little over 2 units going into the main card. So again, I thought the same. I thought we were doing pretty well. And I thought we were going to do pretty well going into in the main card as well. And yes, I 1000% agree with you. And I think Twitter did that as well. 'Cause I thought the same thing there. I was like, what is everybody talking about? Like, JDM clearly won this fight, like, it wasn't even a question. Like, I mean, yeah, did it look bad that he was getting controlled and making stupid mistakes? Yes. But he still clearly won the fight, especially rounds 2 and 3. I mean, the damage on the feet was like, "Bruh, come on." Like, how is Hafez even still eating all this damage? Like, we're talking about him eating all this damage, and people are like, "Nah, I think Hafez won." Like, bro, what are you talking about? He's getting rocked and wobbling all over the cage in these last 2 rounds. Like, what are you talking about? That was crazy to me when people started saying that. And I actually saw a few. There were a few fighters that said that too, that JDM lost. I was like, "What? What are you watching?" Anyway, we'll talk about that fight in a little bit. This is the McKinney fight, right? So this is actually where we did lose. We weren't in the red after this, but we did lose a little bit of money. Um, and I don't really know. Let's see again where I went wrong with this. Oh, that's right. Oh yeah, now I know. Yeah, so what I did was I went McKinney underdog because, again, I thought it was about 50-50, so went with McKinney, the underdog. I think that's fair. I stand by that. He did pretty well too. I mean, he was winning at one point, I thought. Um, that was at plus he was at plus 120. Then I balanced it out the other way, which is not with the over under. I actually balanced it out because, I mean, really, this probably was going to be under 1.5. So I didn't think that would be smart to do over under or even go with the first round because I thought, oh, maybe McKinney and Sadikov go slightly more cautious this time because we saw him go more cautious against Bonfim. Was a little worried to go like bet first round or even like over or under 1.5. I didn't like that. So instead, what I did is I took Nazim to win by KO because I know how good McKinney is on the ground. I know he's good at defending submissions. I know he's good at jujitsu. I know how good he is down there. So I was like, I really don't think Nazim is going to get a submission. So I'll put it on Nazim KO. Little did I know McKinney was going to get his arm stuck behind his back. So he couldn't even fight off a choke. Fuck. I mean, that's so unlucky. That's so unlucky. I honestly believe that if he had his arm there, I'm obviously not saying he was going to win, but I definitely think Nazim was going for ground and pound. He was going to get a KO. And then he saw, "Oh, his arm's underneath me. He can't defend the sub, so I'll just go for the choke." That's literally it. He won because of that. So it was like, "Oh, fuck." So to me, that was a little more unlucky than anything else, the sub. So we did not cash in there, which put us minus 2 units, of course, which brings us to even. And that's the problem with when you're betting like that, because if you are somehow wrong and the unthinkable does happen, which is what happened here, McKinney getting submitted, which is the one thing that couldn't happen, except for a decision, I guess, a Nazim decision. I mean, that's the one thing that couldn't happen was a Nazim submission. Fuck, and that's what happened. So a little unlucky. I don't know. Again, I don't really know how else I could have turned that around. I don't know. Because Nazim finish was still in the minus money. I could have done that. I still wanted it to be plus. So I guess if I would have put Nazim finish, I would have gotten some money back. That might have been like minus 150. It wouldn't have put us minus, 2 units down back to the basically zero, basically even for the card. So that wouldn't have happened. So there were definitely a couple of other things we could have done. I didn't think it was terrible though, the way it was designed. But yeah. Um Oh yeah, he did get submitted in the second. So yeah, which is exactly what I'm saying. Like if he got submitted in the second, like I wouldn't have won it anyway if I would have picked first round finish for either guy. And I don't know what the time was, if it was even under 1.5. I think it was, but Yeah, it's tough to say. Like when things are like that, where it's like literally anything can happen. Like you could see a KO, a sub for literally both guys. Both of them could have gotten a KO. Both of them could have gotten a sub. Both of them could have gotten a decision. So when you see things like that, it is actually a lot harder to organize a bet going in, as opposed to like, well, literally the rest of the card where it was fairly obvious. Um, like even the next one, we'll talk about that one now. Dumont Chandler. I went Dumont decision, and then I went under again. That's a pretty obvious way to go because Chandler maybe could have gotten a finish if she was as good as people thought she was, which I knew going in she wasn't. But she could have maybe, something crazy. Dumont could have also gotten a finish, so that goes into the under. But then Dumont decision was obviously the most clear cut prediction going into it. So when things like that happen, it's not that hard to make the units back. But yeah, that McKinney and Sadikov fight, I mean, anything can happen. So you kind of just need to get lucky, I guess, at that point. Uh, yeah, that's funny. That was when she did that, I could not believe I laughed so hard. Like as it was happening, I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Amazing. Oh my god. I truly also like them, like the commentators, have never seen anything like that. I mean, like it happened. Actually, no. I've seen it like maybe once or twice. It pretty much never happens though. That's crazy. And you love to see it. You love to see it. Definitely more so on like a regional scene. You could see some funnier stuff like that. But yeah, comedy gold. Love it. Definitely the most meme worthy card we've seen in a while, for sure. But yeah, so Dumont decision that cashes in plus 105. Nailed it. So that's 2.05 units back. That puts us 0.05 units up on that matchup, which is basically even, which is, that's whatever. That's fine. Oh, but of course, I keep forgetting to say too that these also were cashing in the parlays as well. So it's not like you got nothing out of Dumont winning or Elder or Costa or Melsick. Like no, they were also in the parlays. So I guess I should really be saying that as well, that they did cash in those parlays as well. But yeah. So yeah, how did that fight go? I mean, yeah, like I said, Chandler tried to run out of the cage. That was hilarious. And Dumont just dominated. And that's exactly what I said going into it. I was like, I don't really know why. I mean, this fight's really only happening because there is quite literally nobody in the 145-pound division. Dumont has fought every single person on the 145 roster. Like that is true. She actually, at least from what I know, from what I've seen, she has fought every single person that fights at featherweight in the UFC, Dumont. So makes sense. We need new people. And she was, I think, the biggest person at 135. So kind of makes sense that that's the way they went with it. Uh, I mean, at this point, truly, and I'm not even joking, I actually kind of think that why to just give Dumont the belt? Like just make some stupid, I don't know, like even a fight night. Like, we had, I mean, she's headlined a fight night before, Ladd and Dumont. Remember that? That happened. Aspen Ladd and Dumont. They headlined. It was one of the worst headliners we've ever seen, but it happened. Um so I mean, why not just give her the featherweight title? I don't know who she would be fighting for it, but at this point, like I said, it doesn't matter. She's going to win anyway. She's clearly the best 145er. If you're going to even claim that you have a 145 division, just give her the title shot. Or just give her the title. Nobody would argue that. Just give her the belt. I think she's earned it. Just give her the belt at this point. I mean, like, do something. I don't know. Or else it's like, why do we even have these people here if there's no belt? Why are we doing a 145? Why are we doing any 145 fights if there's no belt? There's just no point. So either give her a title shot, 145 against some random person on a fight night, do the title on a fight night main event. There you go. Or just don't do it at all. I don't know. Might as well just do that and they can justify putting it exactly. That's what I'm saying, yeah. Which is what they're doing with Valentina, which I think is crazy to do that. That is a fight night, main event. I mean, like, I guess I think that's a pretty solid fight, to be honest. I wouldn't mind seeing that in a co-main, but, if they wanna waste it on a fight night, whatever. I get it, it's the Mexican Independence Day card, so they're trying to really beef that up with that. So I guess that makes sense. But yeah, if you were ever gonna do one, I mean, yeah, do the 145 one. Come on. I mean, 135 is honestly another one you could easily do that with too, because it would probably be. I'm honestly not really convinced. Oh, actually, no, that's right. I did watch Pennington's last fight again yesterday because she fought. Who is fighting this week again? She fought somebody who's fighting this week. I'm looking at it. Looking at it. Who did she fight? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was Vieta, right. She fought Ketlin Vieta. Or was it Ketlin Vieta? Kianzad? Penny? Man, fuck, I don't know. I think it was Ketlin Vieta because I know yesterday I was literally just watching Raquel Pennington. Um, yeah, like, I don't know. That could be its own fight night main event. Pennington and Pena. I don't know. We'll see. Probably more of a co-main though on a pay-per-view. That's probably more likely what they're gonna do. Tough to say. Who knows? Who knows? Honestly, who cares? Who gives a fuck? Um, moving on. Duraev and Park. This is where the card officially fell apart for us. Was this one and the next one? And I will kind of admit, I did not do enough research on this one. Oh fuck yeah, you're right. Ronda Rousey. Do I think that she has a chance at winning though? No, probably not. But to be honest, I really don't think that she has a chance at winning anything. But that would be something that would be interesting. I mean, how big was she? Or how big is she now? Like when she fights in WWE, how big is she? Did they ever say? They probably never announced that, do they? Because they don't. There's no such thing as like weight classes and stuff like that in WWE most of the time. Well, I mean there are, but it's like, do we know that they're actually, they're not weighing in to make like, I'm the one, I'm the lightweight champ of the WWE. Like they're not doing that. But I don't know. Do we know how much Rousey even weighs? Because yeah, even her at 135. I figured you were gonna say something like that. Yeah. Um, but yeah, seeing her at bantamweight. I mean, but to be honest though, like just think about this too, is it's like, could we not have Ronda Rousey be a double champ? Possibly. She goes bantamweight, wins that. Featherweight, Norma Dumont. Can she beat Norma Dumont? Get the featherweight, double champ. Why not? Double champ, Ronda Rousey, 2024. Calling it. Calling it now. Double champ. I could see that though, honestly. Like, why not? I don't know if they even thought of that. Like, we could actually maybe get Ronda Rousey back to revitalize this 145 division as well. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. I'd like to see that. It'd make it interesting at least. They need something. I mean, you can't just let it go and do nothing. I mean, this is ridiculous. Duraev Park. What I was going to say was I did not actually watch too much tape on that because I thought, oh, I know how good Duraev is, and I also know I haven't been hugely impressed by Park. I think I was wrong. I think I was wrong going into it. I ended up picking Duraev as the dog because it seemed pretty close on paper, so I think that was fair. But yeah, and then I went with the over, which was at minus 163. I don't think I should have gone with the over. I don't think I should have gone with that. I don't know. There was a mistake here somewhere. Either I should have gone with Park because I think if I would have watched tape, I think I would have noticed that he was a lot better on the ground because that was really the mistake. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like in that matchup, I just made a mistake. Either I could have gone with Park doing something, so Park decision, Park finish, or I should have gone with under 2.5. I don't know. I fucked up that matchup somehow. I should have done one of those two things, either one or even both. Because yeah, I definitely that did not work out at all. And that was another negative too. So that actually did put us now we are in the red. Like that was -2. We are -2 units now. So yeah, that was just rough. That was a rough one. Just like the name Iron Turtle. It is a pretty good nickname. Yeah. So that was a rough one. I think I fucked that one up. I should have. I feel like if I would have watched more tape, I would have landed on either one of those things, either the under or picking Park decision or even both. I don't know. I would have picked something differently. So I think I just missed the boat on that one. I really just dropped the ball. Duraev looked pretty good on the feet at first, and then was almost submitted pretty much. Right, it was pretty deep actually, and then Sub broke him down in the second round. So yeah, Duraev never really looked like he was doing that well. He's pretty hit or miss, so I don't mind. Yeah, but I mean, so is Darius. I think what makes me think that I really should have seen something is the fact that I've been saying for the last 2 years that I don't think Duraev is that good, because I've said that. I've said that multiple times, that I'm not really sure that he's that great, and I've picked against him a couple of times. So I think I should have just kept that narrative going that he's really not as good as people think. And Park is better than people think. And I've been actually pretty high on Park in his last few fights. I've actually been so it was kind of weird actually that I went in the opposite direction in this case because I've usually been going with Park and I've usually been going against Duraev. And for some reason on this fight, I flipped it. I went the other way. I went with Duraev and against Park. I don't know why I did that. I don't know. I think that's really what messed me up more than anything is that I just went against what I normally do, like completely, and just, yeah, just fucked it up. Idiot. Stupid. Then we had Otman Azaitar and Prado on this one. And I'm not really sure. This one, I'm actually not sure I could have done a whole lot better. I picked a Zaitar. Oh, yeah, that was where I went wrong. I picked a Zaitar because, again, I did not really watch tape going into it because, I mean, I watched a little bit, but it was like, oh, well, I just saw these two because I was actually watching their fights for the other people that they were fighting literally within the last couple weeks because Zaitar fought um uh, who did Zaitar fight recently? Or yeah, it was one of Zaitar's last few. I think it was actually Frivola or something. I was watching his tape. So I knew like, okay, well, watching a Zaitar isn't going to do much because he hasn't really shown anything in the last couple of years because of the injuries. And then he got just smoked in like 20 seconds by Frivola, never really got to throw anything. So watching tape on him was useless. And then Prado, I saw that he lost to, was it Sabatini or something? So I was just kind of like, oh, well, if he lost there, and then I think I watched like a couple minutes and was like, mm, not hugely impressed. Um, so yeah, I just went in the opposite direction. And I think if I would have just watched more tape on Prado, I think I would have noticed that, and I would have gone with Prado. So I think I maybe a little bit regret picking a Zaitar as the dog, but either way, I'm not really sure. The over under, I kind of stand by the over, to be honest. I picked over 1.5. I mean, it's 1.5 rounds. Usually we don't see finishes that fast, especially with guys like this. So I don't know. I stand by the over 1.5, even though that did not cash in. Oh yeah, actually no, that's right. I even wrote down here Azaitar too. I mean, maybe I don't completely regret it because Azaitar was actually winning. He was winning the fight, and then he got hit with an elbow, and then that was it. I thought and it was also a slightly early stoppage too, so there was that in there too. Not saying he was gonna win, but could he have lasted until over 1.5? We'll never know. You just don't like seeing early stoppages, but still, I feel like, again, more tape in there, I could have figured something out. I don't know. I think I blew that matchup as well. So again, 0-2 on that one. So we're down 4 at that point. I mean, like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think I just made a couple of key mistakes on the main card because, like I said, I was up 2 units going into the main card. Now, 2 fights left in the main card, and I'm 4 units down. That's not good. That is really bad. So clearly there were some mistakes made in there that I could have picked up on. And who was the sniper pick? Well, we're going to be talking about him right next, and that was JDM. Definitely close. It was getting questionable there. I was actually getting a little bit worried, not going to lie. I don't know if you were getting worried too about that JDM, but yeah, I was getting worried. And weird one in terms of the bets because none of the sites that I mean, I use Betway most of the time, but we're sponsored by Bet99 here. Neither one of the sites actually had any bets. They only had the the main betting line. So minus 600, I got him at. There was no over under. There was nothing. There was no like first round, second round, over, under, KO, submission. There was none of that. So I actually couldn't put any bets on this matchup at all. To be fair, probably would have lost them anyway. So maybe it's better that I couldn't have bet. But because I definitely would not have bet on a JDM decision. I might have put money on over 1.5, and that probably would have cashed. That would have cashed in for probably plus money. But still, so it might have actually saved us that there were no bets. But yeah, that was a bit weird. All the weight, yeah, I 100% totally agree with that too. The weight cut definitely had a huge factor to do with that. But yeah, that was the sniper pick though. So he was minus 600, put the 6 units down. That gave us 1 unit back. So 7 units back total. So yes, we did cash that in. It was all good. That was all great. But yeah, weird fight. Weird fight. I think, well, I don't know actually, because again, like you said about the cardio because of the weight cutting, I don't know how he would have been last week because I don't think you can really deny the fact that looking at him, watching him in that fight, it was kind of like, I think you're kind of lucky that Brady canceled the fight because I don't think that was going to go well. Because if you're not stopping this guy's grappling, I mean, this guy's pretty good. Don't get me wrong. And I think people need to realize that too, is that Hafez actually is pretty good. But if you're not stopping Hafez and you're letting him grapple you, because there was some terrible fight IQ going on there too, uh, you're going to run this into some real issues with Sean Brady. And do you think he will fear him a little less now? 1000% yes. I mean, if you're Sean Brady and you see that fight, you're like, oh, oh, this is gonna be a lot easier for me now. Because I think he was a little bit. I mean, obviously he's worried about the stand up, but I think he was more so worried that JDM is going to be able to shut down a lot of those takedowns, and that I think Brady, knew, oh, I'm going to have to really do a lot of striking in this fight because JDM is probably going to shut down the takedowns. Now I think he realizes, oh, I think my grappling is actually going to be pretty effective. So I might not have to worry as much about being on the feet with him as much. I think that's probably what he's thinking a little bit more. I don't know if he's thinking, oh, I'm going to dominate him and submit him, because I don't think he's going to submit him, but I definitely do think he's going to get controlled by quite a bit, and probably, ground and pound. That's going to be rough. I don't know. So yeah, after seeing that, You gotta favor Sean Brady. You have to. I don't know how you could not after that. I don't know, because even on the feet, it was well, actually, no, to be fair, on the feet, he looked phenomenal as always. It's just maybe a little slower and a little less cardio because of, like you said, the weight cutting issue. I think that definitely made him look a lot worse than he actually would normally be. Also, you gotta remember, not his original opponent, didn't really know anything about the guy, so he probably wasn't sure how he was gonna react to certain things he was doing, because you never know. There's no strategy going into it with a late notice one like that. So you never know. I mean, there's so many factors. Not knowing what somebody's going to do, two weight cuts, which I think was criminal. Like that's actually what I thought when I heard that he was fighting again. I was like, "Oh, okay, so it's going to be what, 175, 180?" Like, what do you mean it's at 170 again? Like this guy was supposed to fight, now you're actually screwing him over? Like, what are you doing? Like, especially since it's a last minute fight, like just give him somebody at 180. Like, who cares? What are we doing here? Um, I don't think so, actually. I honestly don't think there's been more than normal because I think it's because I was doing this, like, I would say I think it was, like, last year or, like, a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, there was a huge stretch where it was like, "Bruh, this is crazy." Like, there were way more like, there were so many fights getting canceled, and we were having cards that were, like, like 10 fights, 11 fights. Most of the cards were, like, 10 or 11 at that point because there were so many people getting well, actually, because of COVID, a lot of it. I mean, there were so many cancellations there. People were getting injured, the COVID thing. There were so many people pulling out at that point. So, yeah, it's definitely better than it was. But yeah, I guess because we had a really good stretch there where there weren't too many people pulling out, that now it's like, oh, like now we're seeing all these people pull out again. Hill, Umar, Costa, Cejudo. That's true. Well, again, though, Hill, I mean, yeah, that's a freak accident, really. That's more like, that's a freak injury. I don't really know about I mean, Umar, I actually saw somebody say that online today too. The Nurmagomedovs and that camp, they have they have a tendency of pulling out of fights a lot. Like Khabib pulled out of things a lot. Islam has pulled out of things a lot. So I think people are kind of thinking like, oh, okay, well, Umar is also associated with them, so him pulling out, again, also not that crazy. A lot of the people in those camps pull out a lot, and it's because they end up being so big that they don't think they can usually, it's because they don't think they can cut weight down fast enough and healthy enough, and then they just cancel the fight. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but it's plausible, because, yeah, they've done that quite a bit. Hill, though, that was just a crazy injury. Costa, who the fuck knows? Actually, no. What they think is happening with Costa, because everybody kind of thought that matchup was weird. They actually do think that they gave him the Chimaev fight. Essentially, that's what they're talking about. They think that Chimaev is fighting Costa in Abu Dhabi. They don't want Costa to fight Alaskarov, who is pretty fucking good. So because if I mean like you got to think if Costa loses to Alaskarov, what's the point of him fighting Chimaev? There's no motivation to make that fight anymore because he lost. If he lost to Alaskarov, he's going to lose to Chimaev. That's pretty much a guarantee. That's what everybody assumes anyway. So why would you make that fight? So I think what they're doing is they just gave him the Chimaev fight anyway. So they're just going to make that happen instead. I think that's what happened, and a lot of other people think that's probably what's happening there. Hard to tell though. And they did say Costa did say that he signed something. He said that today. He signed some kind of contract. So yeah. But yeah, he did say that he signed something today. I mean, he said stuff like that before, so who the fuck knows, but yeah, I don't know. It seems like he's got something going. And they'd also the UFC would be kind of dumb to not make that fight happen because at this point, who's Chimaev fighting? I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter. He could literally fight anybody. He could fight a new, he could fight somebody not inside the UFC, and everybody would tune in no matter what. But still, the fact that it would be Paulo Costa, that's if it's somebody big like that, somebody exciting and crazy like that, that's where the real numbers come in. So I think that's what they're going to be doing, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, they've been blowing some big fights lately, so I don't know what to tell you. We'll see. Oh yeah, but yeah, the fight IQ from JDM, that was really the most concerning part because it wasn't even the getting control in the grappling. Like that's not ideal. But when you're pushing the fight towards the grappling and like pulling him on top of you and not taking advantage of the striking and just making stupid choices, that is concerning because that has nothing to do with weight cutting, grappling ability. Like that has nothing to do with any of that. That has nothing to do with skill. That is that is all up here. That is all fight IQ right there. And that was the most jarring part of it, that it was like, what the fuck is he doing? Like it just didn't seem like he knew what to do, and he was doing like actively the wrong things. Yeah, it just looks awful. Yeah. That was the most concerning part. So that I think is what Brady was probably, looking at and going, "Oh, you know, it's not even necessarily like, oh, I'll have the grappling advantage for sure." It's more so like, oh, he doesn't actually seem to know how to stay away from the grappling of somebody if he can't knock them out. Like if somebody gets grappling with him, it seems like he almost doesn't know how to react yet. That's kind of how it was. Yeah, I don't know. So it's not a good look, and I'm definitely concerned. But yeah, then we had the main event, and I will say I made one tiny mistake, but other than that, it actually went. Actually, no, I made two mistakes. One tiny one large one that definitely cost us some units for sure. Holly Holm Bueno Silva, of course, shocking win, to be honest. Truly, I even actually like a couple days later, and even now, I'm kind of thinking like, I cannot believe Holm just got submitted like that. Like standing on the feet, doing her thing, which is clinching against the fence. That's her thing. And she got submitted while standing up. The fuck? Like, what? That's so not Holly Holm that it was just like, wow. I'm actually shocked that that just happened. Truly, I still cannot believe that that happened. I don't know. Yeah, no other words. I just shocked. Could not believe it. And I mean, she was clearly winning before that too, which was even more of a piss off. So the bets were home decision. That was plus 105. Thought that was pretty fair. Balanced it out with the under 4.5 because I thought, oh, well, if Bueno Silva does win, it's obviously going to be a finish. And I was right. I was right about that. So that actually did balance out, and that actually did get us some money back. So I'm not actually saying we lost money in the matchup. I'm saying I could have won more money in the matchup, is what I'm trying to say. That was plus 150. So that cashes in 2.5 units. That's fantastic. But I made two other bets, not just one other bet, two other bets on top of that. And that's where I fucked up. I made too many bets again. I think the maximum should be three. The maximum should always be three. I should never do four bets in the same matchup. That should never happen. That's where the mistake was made. I went home most strikes. That was always going to cash in. So it's Holly Holm. She is never going to get outpaced by anybody. That is not happening. So that clearly cashed in minus 163. So the odds weren't great on it, but it's like it's minus 163 for something that is probably going to cash in like 99% of the time because she always gets the most strikes. So yeah, that cashed in, which is fantastic. That is 1.61 units back. Exactly, yeah, and I did overcomplicate it because I thought, "Oh, well, Holm has been grappling a lot recently in her fights. I'll put some money down on her getting the most takedowns as well." So I put her getting the most takedowns. There were actually 0 takedowns in the fight, so technically, nobody got more takedowns, which means I lost. Sucks. That sucks. Yeah, and it was at plus 200, so I knew I was taking a bit of a gamble. So yeah, I mean, that already in itself too, like, that's 1 unit that I just wasted, you know? I shouldn't have done that. That was my mistake. I will not be doing that again. 3 units. What's the most specific bet I've gotten correct, like, ever? Well, I mean, like, I forget what the biggest parlay I got was, but that would definitely be the most specific. It was like it was at least 15 legs, I think. Yeah, it was like did I get a 15? Yeah, I did get a 15 a couple of times. I got quite a few 12 legs, a few 15s. So, and on those, if you, I don't know what the odds actually ended up being. I screenshotted it one time, so I could maybe look it up. But it was like I put 50 cents down on parlays at that point when I was doing those, and one parlay got me over $200. So a 50-cent bet got me over $200 one time. That was the best one I did. But in terms of a single bet that was not a parlay, I can definitely tell you which one it was. I picked Juliana Miller to win by submission in the 3rd round, I think, or did I pick her to win just in the 3rd round? Either way, it was like plus 1,500, I think, which I thought was crazy. I put it down and yeah, she won. She won in the 3rd round by submission, and I got it. But yeah, it's mostly the parlays for sure. I get parlays like that. I get parlays regularly, but those were the ones. That's how, and like I said, that's how I was betting before. I wasn't doing single bets. I was only doing parlays. So that's how I was making money. I was cashing in 10, 12, 15 leg parlays. Every couple weeks or so I would cash one in. Every week I would cash in like a 6 or an 8 leg. Like literally every week I would, or else it would be like, what the fuck am I doing if I'm not cashing these in? So I would pretty much always cash in a 6 or an 8. The 10, 12, 15s, those were like every couple weeks I would cash one in. Yeah. It's just that I was doing so many of them that it ended up not balancing out, and then my picks weren't doing as well, so then I wasn't really getting money anymore. So it's kind of like, this isn't really a great strategy. But yeah. I have even now though, I still do that. I still put down the parlays. I just don't do as many of them. So I was doing like, like 5 15 legs and like 10 8-leg parlays, stuff like that. Like I was doing a lot of them before. Now I only do like 5 a week that are super long. And I mean like super long. Yeah, the new system is new for a reason. Yes. It sure is. Yeah. Because yeah. Although I will say, I mean, I was betting like that for 8 months, I think. 8 months or so, and I didn't have to put any more money in. So, it was working. I was winning my money back. And the most I had profit, like I mean, I put like $500 down, and that lasted me, like I said, almost a whole year betting like that. And the most I ever had total was up. I was at like I was over 1,000. I think it was about like 1050 or 1,100. So it was working. It was just when your picks start to go downhill, doesn't really work out as well anymore. So the picks were going downhill. And then I was getting a little unlucky on how I was organizing them. And I do mean unlucky because I cannot tell you how many times I missed a 10, 12, 15 leg parlay by one fighter. One. I have had that so many times. You have no idea. Like I should be at least a few $100 up more like on betting like that. But anyway, there's a reason, exactly what you're saying. There's a reason why I don't bet like that anymore, because unless you can consistently, like truly week after week after week for years on end, get like truly like 70-80% of your picks correct, you cannot bet like that. You can't bet like that. Yeah. And that's what I was doing. I was getting 70%, 70 to 80% right. So it was working. But yeah, as soon as that stopped working. But now, like I said, I do some. So what I do is I do like two from every card that's on in the week. Yeah. That is true too. There is a reason people start to hate one particular fighter. Yeah, I have a couple of those actually. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who that is. But Juliana Pena was one of them for a little bit because she fucked me over with that Nunes one, obviously. Um, oh yeah, no, Chris Curtis is starting to bug me a little bit like that. I love Chris Curtis as a person because I have actually talked to him too, and he's a very nice guy. But fuck me, I'm so bad when Chris Curtis is involved in the bets. Like pretty much every time I pick with him, I lose or he loses. And every time I go against him, he seems to win. So it's like, bruh, we're never on the same page. This is terrible. Holly Holm actually might be the worst with that, truly. She's screwed me over so many times with the bets. It is unreal how many times I've lost with Holly Holm. So yeah, that might be the worst for me. Including this week. Yeah. But oh yeah, so my strategy for like other cards now, what I do is I do 2 or 3 picks per card. I throw that in the parlays because there's always one, usually at least maybe even 2, sometimes 3 or 4 that are like, there's no way this person's gonna lose. They're like minus 500, and it's one guy that's like 8-0, and he's fighting this guy that's like 10-8 or like 2-5 or some bullshit like that. So what I do is I then string all of those together throughout the week and then also the next week. So then it's like, then I actually do have about 10, 12 leg parlays. And the part the part that actually is kind of insane and it really pisses me off, I have not gotten a single non UFC one wrong in like over a month. No joke, in these parlays. I've It is only the UFC ones. So the only reason that I'm not up, like I seriously could be up like I don't know how many units, like dozens of units by now. But every single week so far, one UFC person has ruined it for me. So Holly Holm ruined it for me last week. Guram ruined it for me before. Bonfim ruined it a little bit. Who else was there? There was somebody out. There was a couple too. Oh, who was it? Oh yeah, I can check here. That's right. Oh yeah, Howrigwe. Fuck. Howrigwe was the one who ruined it for me 2 weeks ago. If Howrigwe wins, I get like I think that was like a 10 leg parlay. There were multiple 6 and 8 leg parlays. She lost them for me. Holm lost them, like 6 or 8 of them for me this week. One person away. Happens all the time. Brutal. Absolutely brutal. And like I said, it's only the UFC people. Everybody else is so predictable. It's always the UFC. Anyway, moving on. Oh yeah, so for that matchup, that leaves us with 4 bets. That's 4 units. So adding that up, that's 2.5 plus 1.6. That is 4.1. So we had 0.1 units of profit for that one. And then you've always wanted to watch someone in person who's bet on a fight just to see their faces. Yeah, trust me, because when I do get money, and assuming I'll have a better betting system by then too, especially with the sniper picks. With these sniper picks, I'm not joking when I say I will be putting like a few $1,000 on like the sniper picks, especially because actually, have I gotten a sniper pick wrong on this show yet since I started doing this with you guys? I don't think so. Oh, I technically got one wrong, and it was Guram, but Guram was technically my B slot. He technically was not the A slot fighter. So I don't think I've actually lost an A slot one yet. I'll go back here because it was, let's see. Now I'm curious. Last week was JDM, so we caught that. That's one. It was Cameron Simon before that. That's two. Brito before that. That was A. And technically, the sniper pick was actually B that week. So that was Guram. So my B didn't cash in, but the A did cash in. So that was Brito. So that's 1, 2, 3 in a row. Before that was Arnold, not Arnold Allen, Brendan Allen. That's 4 in a row. Then it was Sarukian. That's 5 in a row. Then it was Dan Ige. That's 6 in a row. Then it was Natalia Silva. That's 7 in a row. Then it was another Silva. Which Silva is that? Oh, that was Natalia Silva. Who's this other Silva? I keep forgetting. There were Silvas 2 weeks in a row. Anyway, won that one. Carlos Alberg. I'm just going back as far as I've been keeping track. I still have not lost yet if I keep looking back. This is UFC Charlotte I'm back to now. Carlos Alberg, that guy, he won. Iavloyev now also won. He was the A. So literally I have not lost. I have not lost my A pick yet. The person in the A slot has not lost, and that is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, that's 10 in a row. JDM was the 10th. Yeah, 10 in a row. 10 in a row in the A slot. There you go. So, I mean, yeah, I got it. There's a wood desk right in front of me. Yeah. So, I mean, for anybody that tells you, oh, you can't make money by betting on like one person, just a lot of money every single time. Yes, you can. I've gotten it right 10 times in a row. It's just, the rest of the card. That's the problem. Yeah. And yeah, so yeah, 10 in a row. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying though. I will be putting down $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. I could easily see doing that on some of these sniper picks for sure, because truly it is shocking when I lose a sniper pick. And like that's not and those are all the UFC ones. So I haven't lost a UFC one in the A ones, but I have lost some of the regional ones. And some of those are pretty shocking too. I don't know. Like I expect to win those too, to be honest, because even those are usually pretty obvious. And I can usually tell when it's kind of close. Like when it's like, I don't think I'm going to put down like 10 units on it this time. This one, even though it is the A slot, feel like I should be probably only putting down like 4 units because this is questionable. And those are usually the ones where I might lose. But the ones where I'm super confident about, I don't think I've lost any of those yet. If you win some of the 10K bets, you could throw some, maybe. I would definitely do some giveaways eventually though, for sure. I don't know about straight up cash giveaways, but I would definitely do prize giveaways for sure eventually. Yeah, because I mean, I was on Twitch doing like gaming streams before, so I hope that my streams here end up like my gaming streams there. That was pretty fun. Yeah, which is why, I mean, people don't normally expect people like this to like talk to the audience. I'm just so used to gaming on Twitch that I just talk to the audience no matter what. Like if I see a comment, I'm gonna mention it. Whereas I feel like a lot of people don't really do that on these things, especially on YouTube. Yeah, you're watching on YouTube. Yeah, it tells me that. Because technically I'm live on Twitter right now as well, if you didn't know that. New UFC game coming out. I know. Oh my god. I haven't been gaming in a long time, so I don't know. I'll definitely get it, but I don't know if I'll get it right away or if I'll get or how much I'll be playing it, because Also, fun fact, I mean, the whole reason what I'm actually doing on the side, I haven't really talked about this much because there's no really to tell. I am actually making a video game. Like that's what I do in my side time. So, well, this is technically my side time, I guess. So, like, what I do is I spend like 80% of my day making a video game on my laptop, and then like 20, 30, sometimes half of my day is then spent doing like research here for like bets. Basically, that's my day pretty much every day. Actually, it is literally every day. It's like gaming stuff, trying to make the game, and then betting stuff on the side. And I only say that because it is actually an MMA game, because there's no I don't know if you've ever actually looked at this, but if you go on the App Store, there's like what? Like there's the UFC game, and then there's a bunch of shitty games that aren't very good. So my goal is to then be the only good MMA game. That's my goal. And I think I can pretty easily achieve that. Do I develop games? Technically, yes, because I am doing it right now. Have I ever come out with a game before? No, because this is my first one. Yes, boxing garbage. But if you've been looking at the App Store, which is true, the good games are the boxing ones, because I've played some good boxing games. I think it's, what is it called? Is it Real Boxing or something? It's like with the cartoony kind of guys, and there's like you swipe mostly. It's like this is a hook, and then this is like jab, and then it's like uppercut is like this, and it's you get like the different equipment, like the boxing gloves, you get different equipment and like other outfits, and then it's like some of it's online and some of it is against the computer. That game, I think it's Real Boxing. I think that's what it's called. I can't remember though. Or is it not? Oh, actually, I should have it on my phone. I like that one. I know we're getting super off topic here, but again, I don't normally get to talk about this with people. So, um, Fight Master. That's what it's. Oh no, it was. It was Real Boxing 2. Real Boxing 2. That's a good game. Fight Master is no, that was terrible. That's right. Oh, Boxing Star. Boxing Star. That's the game I was talking about. Boxing Star is the game. Yeah, Boxing Star and Real Boxing 2, they're pretty good. But yeah, I mean, like, I did the research, and like I'll even just tell you out loud, because I've downloaded all the half decent MMA games, or the only decent MMA game, and I mean, like, and I'm putting decent lightly, like, to be fair, because if you download these games, none of them are really that good. There's MMA Manager, which is good for what it is, but it's not a fighting game, so it's just a manager game, which is cool, but it's not fighting. And then there's the UFC game, obviously, which is honestly not great. The phone game, UFC Mobile 2, not great. And then where is it here? I said one of them. Oh yeah, Punch Guys. Fuck. Most of these are just like ad grabs. You know what I mean? Like you watch like 10 ads in a row, and then it's like, oh, you get to fight once, and then there's an ad. You get to punch one guy, there's a fucking ad again. It's like just ad. The graphics are shit. The gaming is shit. They're all like that. So that's Punch Guys, Fight Master. Those two are like the same. They're bad. They're like that. Martial arts fight, bad. You know, like these are all just horrible games. And then that's it. No joke. That is it. Those are the MMA games. I just named all of them. Congrats. You know? So it's like those are the games. That's what I have to compete with. Is the UFC, which is fair, you know, that's a half decent game at least. And then all that shit, which is garbage. Literal garbage. Like they're unplayable. And then is it an app or developing a what system? It is for the phone. Yes. Yeah. It'll be on, I'm doing it for both though. So I'm doing it on the App Store. Well, not even both. I'm actually doing it on for Apple. I'm doing it for Android. And then I'm also going to go for there's also Chinese app market, because they don't subscribe to Android markets, and they have their own app market. Basically, they basically have their own game store in China. So that's a billion people that I can reach that a lot of the other people don't reach. So I mean, there's stuff like that. Like I'll be doing those too. It would be cool to see the game you're making. Yeah, I won't be showing anybody for a little while because for right now, there's not a huge amount of visuals. Like there's not like there's a lot of the coding is done. But yeah, a lot of the visual stuff I haven't really done yet. And it's like, I don't really want to tell people about it and show people it like months in advance, like when I'm not even close to being done it, which is where I'm at now. I thought I was going to be farther along, but it's not. Uh, yeah, the UFC has the money in Monopoly. Monopoly? Oh, a monopoly on the actual. Yeah, I thought you meant the game because it was capitalized. Lol. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, 1000%. Like I said, I mean, I just named all of them. That truly, I downloaded every single MMA app that there was to do research, so I knew what I was competing against. And literally, the only game that was actually playable as a game is the UFC one. So I've got one game to compete with, and we all know that phone game for the UFC is garbage. Like it is not good. It's not good. Nobody plays it. It's not fun. It's not You don't want to keep playing it because there's no reason to keep playing it. They didn't make game modes. They didn't make like basic things. Like it's just bad. So yeah, that's what I've got to compete with. So yeah, I'm feeling good about it to be honest. We'll see though. I'm excited. I'm super excited about it though. I mean, like I said, I spend all day on it. Of course I'm excited. Yeah, the UFC does not own Monopoly. No, I thought you meant like that Monopoly has the way it said it was like, oh, UFC has a great MMA game, Monopoly has a great MMA game, or UFC has a Monopoly game. I was just reading it like, what does he mean by this? But no, I understand now for sure. I don't know if they have. Do they have UFC Monopoly? They should. I feel like they do. They must. They must. Right? You would think so. You would think they would have it. But anyway, it's nice to talk about me every once in a while just to get kind of an update, I guess. But yeah, we're gonna move on to the parlays now. But yeah, actually, yeah. So that's what if you were ever curious as to what I do during the day, that's it. And I honestly think I'm shooting for the end of the year. I want to shoot for it to be out January 1st, but we'll see. Because I got to be honest, like I'm really trying to like make everything perfect and everything look really, really good. And because I'm doing this by myself, takes a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. So we'll see. we'll we'll see. Could be January. Fucking could be months after that. I don't fucking know. Because I was trying to get it out by June, and it's like, well, obviously that's not going to happen. That already didn't happen. Then I thought September, and I was like, nope. Oh yeah, no, and that's why I liked being on Twitch so much too, because on Twitch, you get that opportunity on Twitch. You game while you're gaming. There's downtime because you're walking to a place or like you're doing a puzzle, you're fighting. You get time to talk. So I like talking about and having conversations with people. That's why I liked Twitch so much before. So I love it. I really do. It's just that and normally, I'm not even kidding. If I was living by myself and this was my place and everything like that, I probably would actually just talk even more. But because I'm at my mom's house, I'm staying at my mom's place. Dinner is always at 6 to 6:30ish, so it's like I need to then like, keep the time down, keep the stream time down, keep the then I can have dinner on time and not delay anything. So it's a whole ordeal here of timing essentially. But trust me, yeah, like in the future when I'm living by myself, I would probably cuz you've seen MMA Hour, I would probably do something like, his on the nose where they ask him questions. 100%. I would be doing something like that too. I would have like chat time or something like that. I would have it where it's like, okay, maybe in between the cards, Like we talk about last week's card, then we have like a chat time like we're doing now. And then maybe we do, you know, the next week's card after that. Maybe I do that eventually. But yeah, when I'm staying here, can't. Gotta keep the show rolling. Oh, and I will be going back to gaming streams eventually too. It's just again because I'm staying here and also because I'm trying to get the game done. Don't really have enough time to do that here either. But I would very much like to go back to gaming streams eventually because I really did enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. And also I was getting paid too. Like I had like a minimal audience, like no joke. I had or on average between 5 and 10 people live at a time, which isn't huge, but it was constant. It was like a constant 3 to 5 and then it would peak at like 10 to 15 sometimes. And even with that, I was getting like I've been paid I think total it's been like $500. So even with that small of an audience, I was still getting money. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely go back to it for sure. Because especially since I'm assuming after I release this game, and then go do some, some more posts on social media. I'm in the game itself too. So people will know who I am just by playing the game. It's like I would assume I'll be getting a much, much bigger audience after I start doing the gaming stuff. So, then I go back to Twitch. There's more money from Twitch there. YouTube, hopefully get monetized on YouTube. Who knows? Keep it going. Keep it going. Anyway, hopefully that was a nice, fun interlude. Uh, but yeah, so now we'll get into the parlays. And this, honestly, I fucked up because I had Holly Holm in the B slot, and that definitely the queen bee fucked us over this time. JDM, of course, being in the A slot, cashed in for the 10th, the record, the milestone, 10th in a row. I mean, I haven't lost yet, so of course it's a record. We're still going on the first record, 10 in a row. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So JDM, A cashes in, B, Holm does not cash in. And that's the only one that doesn't cash in. So C, D, E, F, they all cash in. A, C, D, E, F, all cash in. You would think that would make us a decent amount of money, and it doesn't. What it does is it makes us break even, which is fantastic. But because it was the B slot, if it would have been anything else other than A and B, we would have cashed in a little bit more. But because it was Holly Holm in the B slot, we lost a lot of the parlays right away. ABC did not cash in, of course. B doesn't work. ADF, that does cash in. That was JDM, Dumas, and Elder. That was ADF. So that cashed in. That was 1.3 units back because we put half a unit forward. BCE does not cash in because that's B. So B loss. ABDF, that loses. ACDE, which is the Grand Slam on the in the articles. The Grand Slam cashes in again. How many times have I actually, you know what? That's what I want to see. How many times have I cashed in the Grand Slam? 1, 2. Yikes. 2, 3. 3. 3 out of 10. Not great. But still, that's the 4 leg. So, and that's that specific 4 leg too, because there are other 4 legs. Not bad, not terrible. Funny enough, though, I actually think I'm doing better with the Grand Slam than I am the triple play, which is a bit odd. You'd think I would be getting the 3 leg more, but I'm not. Yeah, the triple play. I don't. You know what? I'll count actually how many I've done the triple play. Missed that last time. Oh yeah, last week I cashed that in. Triple play. That's 1. 2, 3. 3. Huh. 3 and 3. That's it. So I've cashed in 3 triple plays and 3 grand slams. That's odd. That's actually really weird. Statistically speaking, that's very interesting. Um, yeah. Oh, yeah. So, but the ACDE, so that's the Grand Slam that did cash in. So that was JDM, Melsick, Dumont, and ACDE Costa, Melquizael Costa. And that was at plus 366. 366. So that cashes in. And that is 2.33 units back. You add that together, 2.33 plus 1.3, that is 3.63, and that brings us up 0.13 units. So we did make money a little bit on the parlays, but because of where Holly Holm was placed, we did not get as much money as we could have. So like I said, I mean, if you rearrange that, if you put her in the C slot, then, we get a couple of bigger ones. If you put her in the D slot, we get even more. In the E slot, even more. So as she was just up a little bit too high, I don't know if I really would have changed that too much. I feel like Dumont probably should have been a lot higher up, because really, what was Chelsea Chandler going to do? I feel like Costa should have been up a little higher, because he just looked like a huge favorite going into it. I don't know. I feel like I just messed up the letters. I feel like I could have just rearranged them a little bit and we would have had a little bit more profit. So, but all in all, like I said, you add that all up, and that is negative 2.09 units for the top half. Then you add in that little bit of profit. That brings us to negative 1.96. So, it's a little less than 2 units. A little less than 2 units of the card in general. Not great, but respectable. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I also didn't win, so I lost a little bit. Lost 2 units. But yeah, 2 units down, to be honest, that's really not that bad. It's just frustrating because I won so many bets, and I felt like I was doing so well, which I was, and then out of nowhere, the main card just killed me, absolutely destroyed all the momentum I had. So yeah, that sucked, but the overall result of 2 units down, I'll take it. I will take it. So yeah, we'll take a quick break, and then we will come back for UFC London. And holy fucking shit, are we behind? Lots of side, lots of random talking here. Not that I'm mad about it, obviously, because I do enjoy it. And you're the first person, basically, I'm telling most of that stuff about. So there you go, something to look forward to. And it was a nice conversation. But yeah, we are way behind now. But yeah, we'll take a break. I'll have a quick sip of water, watch the ad, and yeah, I don't even know if I'm getting paid for these, to be honest. But did he take the ad off? No way. Oh no, the ad's still here. By the way, I'm actually part of a group, and they're getting the ad money. I'm not even getting the ad money out of this, by the way, just so people know, because I'm just a nice guy. I'm a team player. So without a further ado, I will play it now. 3, 2, 1, go.
Allow me to introduce High Stick Vodka, a new way to celebrate victory. Gather around the glass with an award-winning, ultra-premium Canadian-made vodka. You probably won't listen when I say High Stick Vodka has a smooth, hard-hitting taste, or that it's developed in the birthplace of hockey. You won't listen when I say High Stick Vodka is a tribute to the game of hockey, or when I tell you it's distilled 4 times using Canada's purest mountain spring water to provide an authentic, remarkable flavor. But maybe you will listen when I say it comes in a f***ing hockey stick. Showcase your passion for hockey with our limited edition, hand-blown hockey stick bottle. Whether you're celebrating victory or drinking to defeat, High Stick Vodka is better after every shot. Visit us at highstickvodka.com. It also comes in this regular bottle. Celebrate victory. Drink responsibly.
And we're back. No, nobody's paying me at all. Like, no joke. No, I'm not getting money from anywhere. I'm literally just doing this. I guess so that later people will have some content to look back so that people are like, "Oh, this guy has a show. This guy has content I could look at." That's basically the only reason I'm doing it. Plus, it's fun. It also forces me to do more research for like the bets and stuff like that because I do want to keep betting and everything. So there are a couple other reasons why I do it. But yeah, no, I don't get any money from Area 51 or the sponsors or anything like that at all. But yeah, I also don't drink. So if they gave me a better ad too, I'd probably promote it a little bit more. But yeah, I do not I don't actually drink either. So it's just all around. Doesn't make much sense. Where do I make the money? If you don't Where do I make money in general? To be honest, that's why I'm living with my mom. I don't actually make any money. So I mean, I'll admit I am very lucky the way that that part of my life has worked out. There's a lot of other things in my life that have not worked out that have forced me to be here. There's a lot of physical and anxiety wise, a lot of mental things that prevent me from doing a lot of things that could get me a regular job. So that is why I'm actually staying here. But of course, that leads me to then make the game, which then the games will then, of course, make me money. And then I will be able to move out with the help of the games. But until that happens, here we are. But of course, nobody would ever know that. I'm just an open and honest person, and you're asking, so I'm telling you. But yeah, nobody could obviously tell. I mean, there's a green screen here. They don't know. Oh no, it's totally chill. I mean, like the bigger I get, because I know I'm pretty sure at least that with the games that I make, I'm assuming I'll get some kind of decent sized audience eventually. I'm just super open all the time. I always have, I always will be. I will always answer any question that anybody ever asks me. That's just who I am. So, yeah, just get used to it. You're not prying. You can ask me literally anything. All chill. I will happily answer any questions that anybody ever has. But yeah, that's interesting that you don't drink though. I really don't get that too often from people. Um, to be honest, it's not even for me anyway. It's not a, there's no thought behind it. It's just like, it doesn't make me feel good. It upsets my stomach. So I don't like it. That's all. I have a weak stomach. I get, I start to feel sick. There's also no benefit behind alcohol at all. Like, it just fucks with, it starts to mess with your brain as well too, like drinking too much. So, a little bit of alcohol here and there doesn't hurt, but you know, why would I do that if it upsets my stomach and I feel a little bit not so great after? Why would I do it? I'd rather just blaze to my heart's content. That's what I do. But no banking information. Although funny enough, I actually probably don't even know my banking information. So couldn't tell you even if I knew. Couldn't tell you even if I wanted to, I should say, because I don't know it. Only high stick vodka. Yes, only high stick vodka is great. The best you can get around. That's what it says on this piece of paper off the screen. No. Anyway, wow, we are having way too much fun now. I should really get into the card now. But no, I really well blazed through this because yeah, we don't really need to spend too much time on these. Filio, Barez. Filio is a little bit of a favorite, minus 125 compared to 105 for Barez. I honestly wasn't really impressed by Filio. I don't know if I was the only one. I originally thought when I saw this matchup, I was like, oh, I think Filio was pretty good. He should probably pretty easily win this. And I was like, oh, he was the guy that was fighting Mokayev. And then he ended up he was the one that tore all the ligaments for Mokayev. So clearly he's very good on the ground, but what you don't see is what you probably weren't paying attention to is the fact that he was pulling guard a lot. And he's not really, unless he's on the ground and he has a hold of you, he's not really that great. Like his striking is meh. The grappling is meh because he always ends up on the bottom. So I think Baez actually has a very good chance of winning this fight. So plus 105, I'm down. He's the underdog. It's close. Let's go for it. Plus 105. Over under, pretty much even. Minus 110 for over, minus 116 for under. What did I go for this one? Oh, I said over. Yeah. I stand by that. It's also slightly less money because it's minus one, or slightly better money, minus 110. We'll go for that. That's the first matchup done. So we're going Baez underdog plus 105, and we're going with the over. Then we move on to Bruna Brazil, and I believe it's Shauna. Yeah, Shauna Bannon. Man, this one was a little tough. Because it was kind of a little bit harder to find tape on Bannon too. Had to go on YouTube because she was from Invicta, and that's where most of the Invicta stuff is. Watched it. Not gonna lie, she's definitely got some potential for sure. But I do kind of see why she's the underdog here. Plus 122. Brazil, a lot larger. She is a much larger person. She is bigger, more experienced, maybe a little better striking. So I think that she probably has the slight better chance, but I gotta say, because Bannon is undefeated, because it's in London, she's from Ireland, it's at least, same kind of general vicinity, and they're gonna be cheering for her. I gotta go with the underdog. Plus 122. We'll go for it. She's undefeated too. So I mean, you know, give her the benefit of the doubt. Plus, Brazil, even though she was bigger, she hasn't really done a whole lot in her fights that would convince me that she's going to run away with it. So I'll go with Bannon. I'll try it. Plus 122. We'll go for it. The over under, you got to go for the under. I mean, there's never any profit on these overs with these ladies. Minus 275. Hell no. We're going for the under. And I mean, Brazil got a finish on the Contender Series. I believe she was finished by Gomes. There's finishes in there. Plus 210, plus 210. Might as well go for it. Why not? So that's that matchup. Love it. Then we're going to Chris Duncan and Yanala Schmooze. I gotta say, really don't think this one is, but I don't know. I wouldn't really say it's not that close, but I'm definitely leaning way more towards Yanala Schmooze. I don't know if you have any opinions on any of these, by the way. If you know much about any of these, by the way, you don't have to stop talking just because I'm rolling on. You can, feel free to keep chatting in there for sure. But yeah, Duncan, I don't know. I wasn't really impressed so far. I mean, he almost got knocked out in the Contender Series. He actually basically did get knocked out in the Contender Series. That was actually pretty scary. And if we go to, I'm going back to Tapology here to find who else that he fought, because honestly, I'm kind of forgetting off the top of my head. He's 10-1. Come on. Oof, the Wi-Fi is slow today. Oof. Where are we here? Although we haven't had any glitching today, so that's been nice. That's the first time in a couple weeks actually that I haven't. Oh yeah, Omar Morales. Well, yeah, split decision loss to Omar Morales. I don't think Morales even really looked good in that fight. I watched it yesterday. Yeah, I haven't really been impressed. Meanwhile, I was shocked by Yanala Schmooze, what he was able to do. That was insane, his win. That was against Sam Patterson. I mean, I genuinely thought Sam Patterson was going to be somebody that we were going to be looking at for quite a while. And it was like, oh shit, he's really, really good. Like, we're going to be seeing this guy around for quite a bit. He's looking real good, dangerous, should be able to beat this Ashmooze guy pretty easily. And then he goes in there, gets I mean, and this was like, I don't even remember what the reach advantage was, but Patterson, I think, had it was something like an 8 or a 10-inch reach advantage. Insert interesting point that you didn't think about. Yeah. A bit more when it comes to the main card, having like yeah, yeah. Well, funny enough, I actually did more research on the prelims, didn't get too much time to research the main card yet. So maybe you can help me out with the main card a little bit more. Because yeah, I definitely focus more so on the prelims because I didn't know as much about these guys going into today. Whereas again, I was spending a lot of time this week working on the game because I really want to get it going. And I spent a lot of time on that today, this last week. Anyway, so that took me a little bit away from the betting. But yeah, that Sam Patterson fight, holy shit. I have never seen anybody react like that in the UFC. Never. I've never seen anybody get hit to the point where for the next, I'm not even joking, it was like for almost a minute, he thought he was still fighting. So there were a couple of refs talking to him. His coaches were talking to him in the cage, like literally saying, like, "Yo, the fight's over. Stop. Like the fight's done. You're done. The fight's over. Just sit down, relax." And Sam Patterson is like, trying to grapple the coaches, trying to grapple the refs, trying to stand up, trying to fight. It's like, oh shit, like he is fucked. Like, he is fucked up. I haven't seen that. I genuinely don't think I've ever seen that bad in the UFC before. So yeah. And he did that with about a 10-inch reach disadvantage and like a 6-inch height advantage. So like this guy is way smaller than Sam Patterson. Somehow managed to avoid the power, get in close, and do all that damage. So the guy is really good. And you're comparing it to a guy that was almost knocked out in the Contender Series, did okay in his other fight. I really think this is Yanal Ashmuz's time to really get something going here and be exciting. Get a moment, have the highlight reel, I think. Another highlight reel finish, I should say. So plus 120, love it. Going all in, going for sure with Ashmuz there. And then the over under 2.5, they are favoring the under 2.5. I gotta say that is the direction I was going in as well. So I would probably lower that to 1.5 then, under 1.5. I don't know. I mean, again, I never know what the odds are going to be like until I see it on a different site because Bet99 doesn't normally do those alternate totals. So you're going to probably have to go somewhere else again for that. And I won't know what the odds are. But I would imagine that they are going to be in the plus because if minus, under 2.5 is minus 175, usually that means under 1.5 is plus money. We'll see. But yeah, or we could just go with the under 2.5 minus 175 straight up. But yeah, I'm loving a schmooze though, for sure. Moving on, Ketlin Vieira, Penny Kianzad. I will admit, going into it, I was like, I think Penny Kianzad might have a chance here because, you know what? This is actually a perfect example of somebody that's been continuously screwing me over and that I'm starting to very much dislike. And that is Ketlin Vieira. I think I might have actually gotten her wrong every single time. I'm trying to think back because I bet on Holly Holm 100% for sure when they fought, and she did technically win. I mean, it was a split decision loss. That was fucking ridiculous. I mean, Holly Holm clearly won that fight, so that was a loss in terms of the bet on that one. So Ketlin Vieira screwed me there. I bet on her to win against somebody. I forget who it was. And she ended up losing. So that was another one. And then I picked, I think I picked Yana Kunitskaya when they fought. And then she also won that one, I think. Let me see here. I could tell you actually, because again, on Tapology, they tell you If there's a setting here, there's a button here you can click on. Let me go in here because now I'm actually curious. Come on. There we go. Now I'm clicking on it. I had to find her here. Pick history. Here it is. Oh, I actually have lost every single time. I was right. I've gone 0-3 with Ketlin Vieira. So I picked Misha Tate over Ketlin Vieira because I was like, oh, okay. Like Tate's coming. This is when Tate first came back. So I was like, okay, Tate looked good in her first fight back. Ketlin Vieira isn't much of a grappler because she lost to Yana Kunitskaya because of her grappling. So I was like, okay, Misha Tate. We'll go with Misha Tate. Lost. Holly Holm. I'm like, okay, Holly Holm's going to beat Ketlin Vieira for sure. I still believe, like most other people, that Holly Holm won that fight. But technically, Ketlin Vieira won. So I lost that. Then I'm like, okay, well, Ketlin Vieira beat Misha Tate and Holly Holm. She's looking really good. Fights Raquel Pennington. That's who fought her. That's why I was watching Raquel Pennington. So I go Ketlin Vieira. Ketlin Vieira loses that fight. So now I am 0-3 in Ketlin Vieira fights. And this time, I can tell you, I am going with Ketlin Vieira. That's who I'm going with. And I'll tell you why. Only because she has got a huge size advantage. And I think she's just slightly better on her all around. I mean, I haven't really been seeing a whole lot from Kianzad that's convincing me otherwise. Haven't really been impressed. She fought Lena Landsberg last time. Got dropped, by the way, by Lena Landsberg multiple times. Vieira has a lot more power. She's a lot more aggressive than that. So, I don't know. Just all around, this does seem like a Vieira fight to win, for sure. So, that's who I'm going. Yeah, sure. You can... How about that? You on Tapology. You can go Kianzad on Tapology. We'll see. We'll see who wins. Probably you in that case. But we'll see. We'll see. This is actually a big one for me, this one, because there's a tournament actually that there's a league I'm in that ends this week, and it's the finals. I'm in the top two, because like it was a match one, so it has nothing to do with the points. It's a head-to-head. Oh, a head-to-head. That's what it's called, a head-to-head league. I'm in the final. All I have to do is beat this one guy in UFC London, and I am a champion once again in another league. So we'll see. But I'm fighting it out here. So I need all the points I can get. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going Vieira. And you got to go with the under 2.5. Again, there's no profit on over 2.5. Vieira kind of has some finishes, I think, early on. Kianzad, I feel like it's probably going to be over 2.5, probably. But just in case, under 2.5 plus 240, we'll go with that. So probably what it'll end up being is I will do Vieira by decision, balance that out with the under 2.5. So they're both a plus money. That's probably what I will do. Good luck to you too in your matchup with me. But yeah, I definitely need to win this one because I think there's actually more than one league that's ending this week. I think. I forget. I just try and win every week, to be honest. That's my goal every week. Win. In everything I do. Win. Come in first. Not just like top half. I want to win. I want to come in first every single time. That's my goal. Wow, we are slowing down. I'm slowing down here. We need to hurry up. Muradov, Barberena. This one's a pretty obvious one. I mean, come on. Barberena hasn't done anything really impressive at all recently. Muradov, pretty fucking good. Really only lost to Kyle Bohalio. And I think we all kind of agree at this point, Bohalio should probably be in the top 10. And I've been saying that since Bohalio's first fight. So I knew how good he was going into that. So I knew he was probably going to lose Muradov. So yeah, this is going to be an early win for Muradov. I'm actually going to be putting Muradov in the first round. That's what I'm going to be putting down. And then I'll balance that out with, oh, seriously? Wow. I'm looking at the odds now and I'm blown away. I'll give you the odds first because then that really justifies more what I'm saying. Minus 325 for Muradov. So already, obviously, we need to lower that down, and I will be doing that. Like I said, Muradov round 1. That's what I'm doing. And then I'm balancing it out with the over 1.5. And considering the over under here, I think that's going to be pretty good money. Over 2.5. It's over under 2.5, and it's dead even. That seems shocking to me. Does that seem shocking to you? That they're expecting this to be a decision, probably? Muradov and Barberena? Because to me, that seems pretty surprising, considering the age, skill, power discrepancy. I don't know. That seems wild to me that that's the case right now. So I will be doing over 1.5, which has got to be plus money if they're sticking strong on this 2.5 being dead even. Crazy, crazy odds. Yeah, they're giving too much. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because like, who is he surviving against? Like, he survived against Matt Brown. Like, okay, yeah, exactly. Like, he didn't. I mean, he got submitted by RDA and finished by, who else was that? There was somebody else that just finished him too. I mean, like, it's, yeah, ridiculous. Anyway, we're spending too much time on that. That's an obvious pick. Then we're going, oh, this one was a weird one. This one was Parkin and Pogues. Not really impressed by Pogues at all, but mostly because of the cardio. I think he's got good hands and he could actually get a finish here. Yeah. Yes, please cheer me on so I can keep going faster here. Yeah, Pogues. I mean, he beat Parisian in a decision, and it was a questionable one too. Like, a lot of people actually, like, they actually thought that he might have won. Like, Parisian might have won that decision over Pogues. And I think we can all agree Parisian, not really that great. So that's rough. Yeah, the cardio, huge issue. I don't know. And yeah, exactly. Parkin, England. That was the other reason why I went with Parkin on this one. I mean, I don't think I'd be putting crazy money on it, and I'm not even sure what I'll do on Tapology. But for the sake of the bets here, you got to go with Parkin because it is really close. He's got the home advantage. Pogues hasn't looked amazing. I think Parkin is he not undefeated too, I believe. Let me see here quickly. Yes, he is 6-0. Also for a schmooze, by the way, he's also undefeated. So that should give you another reason to pick him, which is also a little bit interesting that Ashmooze is an underdog and Parkin also an underdog. They're both undefeated. They're both underdogs. You got to imagine that one of them is going to stay undefeated out of those two. So I would imagine that at least one of these underdogs is going to cash in, statistically speaking. Yeah. Oh yeah, and then the over under. I'm actually going to go with the over here. I know it's a heavyweight fight, but oh yeah, I'm looking at the right one. Oh, should I? I could maybe even go under 1.5 because it's heavyweight. Let's see. This is actually worth taking the time here. Just this little side quest here. Because I'm kind of thinking, yeah, every single one of Parkins's fights has ended before 1.5. So could end over, under 1.5 again. But yeah, we got to get some plus money going there somehow. So I'll figure that out. That is a TBD one right there, I think. I'm not sure what I'm going to do there. The only one I know is I'm definitely choosing Park for sure. Parkin, not Park. Oh yeah, I picked against Park last week. I can't pick against Parkin now. It's just a bad omen. Then we've got another fairly easy one. Is it Joel Alvarez or just, what is it? What's his first name? Yeah, Joel Alvarez. And Jacasey, pretty easy, to be honest. I'm not convinced that Jacasey has really. I mean, he's become more well-rounded. He's looked good, but it's not the same level. I just don't think he's got what it takes to beat somebody like Joel Alvarez. Like, he is very, very good. And he's also a finisher. So I think he's going to be doing the finishing. Yeah, I think Alvarez is going to get it done here. So to lower those odds, I'll probably be going with, I even wrote it down. Alvarez finish. That's what I'll be going with. And then I will balance that out with the over 2.5, which is at plus money. So perfectly played here. Even in my, what I wrote down already, plus 140, over 2.5, plus money on both sides, or actually probably should be plus money on both sides. So looking good. That's a good matchup. Alvarez finish, over 2.5. Moving on. This is where I stopped. This is where I haven't done as much of the research yet, but I also will say the picks are pretty clear after this too, to be fair. For the most part. This one was pretty close, I gotta say. A lot of people are kind of saying like, oh no, Parsons is gonna win this for sure. Roberts is kind of not great, but Parsons hasn't really fought recently, and I don't think, from what I remember, again, I will definitely be looking at Tapology here because, again, I haven't necessarily done the research yet. Oh yeah, I did watch this one though. Solomon Renfro. Yeah, that was a pretty good fight. Solomon Renfro and Johnny Parsons here on the Contender Series. I mean, Parsons looked really good. Looked like he might be getting a finish against Renfro. It was a solid fight. Renfro's really good, probably better than Roberts. So I see why Parsons is the favorite. Oh yeah, I was checking to see when was that fight. 2021. That's pretty rough. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. And it's been almost 2 years exactly since that. It was in October. So, So hasn't fought in that time. It was a split decision. And then as for Danny Roberts, got knocked out by Jack Della Maddalena. I'm losing energy here, man. This is getting on really long. I'm starting to lose energy too. Man, fuck. Maybe I need some water here. Danny Roberts lost to Trinaldo. Lost or split decision against Amiv. Man. That's a tough one. That actually is a tough one. So if it's a tough one, maybe you should probably go for the underdog. But do I think Danny Roberts is really going to win? I don't know. Oh, no, that's right. Parsons is the underdog. Well, Parsons is the underdog. Minus 108. Sure, we'll go for it. It's close. Go for the underdog. That's always been my motto. I should stick to it. And the over-under, I mean, obviously go for the under. They're actually favoring the over right now. Oh, I'm actually looking at the wrong one. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. They're favoring the under. Minus 145 for under 2.5. Over 2.5 plus 114. Do I think? Yes, I already wrote over. So, yeah, we're going with the over on this one, which I think is fair. Yeah. Yeah. They both have decisions on their cards. I mean, in their records for a few of them. So, looking good. But yeah, I'm just finding it a little harder to focus though, with the weakness, I would say, and the heat. It is hot here, by the way. I have literally no information going into these because that one I already had kind of watched. Well, not no information. Like, I know who these people are, but still. So next up, it is the start. Oh, it's the last prelim. Davey Grant, Daniel Marcos. Oh yeah, right. Undefeated Daniel Marcos. He's gonna win. I mean, you got to imagine he's gonna win. He's at minus 140. Grant hasn't looked super good. I don't know. Like, he hasn't looked crazy good. He's looked like, okay, like you deserve to be in the UFC. You're entertaining. You're good. But as soon as you start to go against people that are actually super well rounded, kind of falls apart. And that's what Daniel Marcos is. He is very well rounded. So I would imagine that's what's going to happen there. Probably a decision win for Marcos. Yeah. So that's probably what I will do. I will probably go decision Marcos, which would bring it into plus money. And then the under, which is at plus 110 right now, which I think is looking good. I like it. I like it a lot. Also, if Grant is going to win, it's probably going to be by knockout. So you got to think if he wins, the under is going to cash anyway. So looking good. I like that. That's a good spread. Good spread right there. Then we've got, who else do we have after that? Main card, Lerone Murphy, Josh Kulabau. I mean, I've been pretty impressed with Murphy recently. Split decision win over Gabriel Santos, and Santos we know is really good. That was a good fight too, by the way. That was really close. Undefeated in the UFC before that. It was a split against a draw against Tukugov. Beat Ricardo Ramos, beat Silva de Andrade, beat Amir Khani. Really good. So really, really impressive. And as for Kulabau, kind of got lucky, if we're being real, with that Melsick win, because I mean, he was getting destroyed before that, and then just out of nowhere took Melsick's back, submitted him. So if that doesn't happen, he was definitely losing that fight. So a split decision win over Sung Woo Choi, draw to Charles Jourdain. Gotta be Murphy. Gotta be Murphy. Lerone, big Lerone. And whoopsie daisy, that's not the right site. I clicked on the other betting site by accident. That would have given me the wrong odds. So minus 148 for Murphy right now, plus 120 for Kulabau. Yeah, you got to imagine. Interesting. They are favoring the over. Over 2.5 is being heavily favored, minus 200. I think that's a bit questionable because they both have some decent finishes in there. So that makes me want to go for the under. It's probably Kulabau's only chance to win anyway, is getting a finish. So I'll go with the under 2.5 at plus 150, which means we will lower the other one, the Murphy one, probably. I don't know, actually. I might just keep it at minus 148 because I don't know. I don't know if that was a good strategy by lowering the odds to plus, because then you limit yourself to only ever winning one bet. You're feeling Kulabau. Interesting. Very interesting. Well, you can keep your feeling because I don't share your feelings on this one. I'm not going to lie. I don't see it. I was not impressed by Kulabau in the last few fights. I have been impressed by Murphy. I'd be surprised. Plus, you got to remember, he's fighting in London. That's where he's from. So I don't know. I give all the benefit in the world to big Lerone Murphy at this point. He's going to get lucky again. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised. I mean, happens to me all the time. So would not be surprised. But yeah, so if we don't lower that to Murphy by decision and then under, I'll probably just go Murphy minus 148 and then under 2.5. One of those two. That's what I'm going to be doing. Moving on again. Jai Herbert for Reziam. I'm not going to lie. I have no idea because this one I know I should probably be watching tape on. My initial reaction is you got to pick Jai Herbert for sure. But I haven't watched the tape yet. So there's a good chance I could change my mind here. But he did majority draw, actually. Ludovic Klein beat Kyle Nelson. That was close, though. Lost to Topuria, even though he was beating Topuria before that. Knocked out Kama Worthy. So it looks pretty good on the Jai Herbert side. Fereziam, let's see what we got here. Figlac decision. Who gives a shit? McKinney loss first round. Oh my god, a majority decision over Vendramini. Nah, you gotta go Jai Herbert. You gotta go Jai Herbert for that. Nah, he can't. Yeah, you gotta go with your gut. I agree. Yeah, nah, you gotta go with Jai Herbert on this one. Minus. Oh, interesting. He's an underdog. Plus 128 for Jai Herbert. He is the underdog. Very interesting. Fereziem, minus 158. I don't really see why that's the case, to be honest. I'm not really sure why that would be the case. But whatever. We're going with Jai Herbert. Either way, it's still pretty close. But yeah, maybe when I watch the tape, it'll be like, oh, I get it now, and then I'll switch my mind. But honestly, I don't think so. I think I'm staying with him. I think, yes. I actually do agree with that, though. I really do think we are going to see a lot of UK losses. But yes, also correct. Molly and Aspinall are definitely not going to be in those losses. You've already found my sniper pick. That is Aspinall guaranteed. I'm actually, no joke, I was actually going to change my sniper pick, not like from just Aspinall to actually picking Aspinall finish, because do you really think Aspinall is going to last 5 rounds with Tybura? Are you out of your fucking mind? Like, nah. So you might as well just put sniper pick, Aspinall finish. You might as well just bet on that. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. But anyway, that's the main event. So we're almost there though. Who are we? Oh yeah, the over under for Herbert and Ziam. I got to go with the under. I mean, they do have a decent amount of decisions on both sides. They also have some finishes. Let me see here. Maybe I will go. No, they've been finished and have had their own finishes in the UFC. Especially, oh wow, especially Herbert. He's been finished 3 times. Wow, I didn't know that. Knocked out by Trinaldo, submitted by Moicano, knocked out by Topuria. Yikes. That's rough. So yeah, I'm going under. Going under on that one. Moving on. This one is another one I'm not really sure about. You got Andre Muniz and you got Paul Craig. I have never once been impressed by Paul Craig. Quite the opposite. I've been very disappointed by Paul Craig. So I have a very hard time picking him because of his style. The worst style in MMA, truly. Like there's no style that does worse. Pulling guard regularly. That is his style. He will pull guard to get submissions, and that is it. That is what he's been doing. I cannot in good faith bet on that. So you got to imagine, you have to go with Andre Muniz because you cannot bet on a style like that. It just doesn't work. And you got to think maybe Muniz is kind of pissed that he lost that quickly to Brendan Allen like that, or that convincingly to Brendan Allen, I should say. So maybe he comes back extra strong and smarter, more careful. I don't know. Yeah, I don't like Craig. Funny enough, I actually like Craig as a person. I find him very entertaining and as a person. But yeah, that was the fight where I was like, oh, he's just bad. Like he's just essentially getting lucky with his wins because they're getting caught. That's not a good way to win. That's like, it's almost like Derek Lewis, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean? Like Derek Lewis, he doesn't have the skills. He's just winning because it's like, power go boom, he just hits somebody and they're out. So he wins. And Craig is the same thing, except for with submission. So you get caught and then you're like, oh, fuck, I just got submitted. But if you don't play on the ground with him, you're going to win. Like, how do you lose? He's not going to knock you out. He's not great on the feet. So, like, it just doesn't make much sense. So that's why you got to go with Muniz, even though Muniz also kind of one dimensional. But you also got to remember too, Muniz is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's going to get submitted by Paul Craig. Like, I don't think he's going to make a stupid mistake to get submitted by Craig. So even then, like, you got to be going towards Muniz. So yeah, Muniz going all in on that for sure. Minus 225. Well, you got to lower that for sure. I don't know. Decision? Muniz decision or Muniz finish? That is a tough one. That is a tough one to call. The over-under is at 1.5, which is interesting. They're favoring the over 1.5. I don't know. You know what? I need to see the stats on this one for these guys. Let's see how they've been doing in their fights. I mean, Muniz has a lot of submission wins, a lot of finishes. No knockouts, though, other than that, decisions. So it seems like if he doesn't get a submission, he's going to get a decision. So, and it wouldn't make much sense if Paul Craig was submitted by him. So I'd find that hard to believe. Although he was submitted by Jimmy Crute. That's tough. That's a tough one because they both have a lot of unders. You're saying finish? Yeah. I had to think about that, but I think you're right. I think Muniz finish is probably the way to go. And then put money on the over 1.5. I think. Right? At minus 20, over 1.5. Or do I go under 1.5 because they have so many finishes in the first round, both of them? But neither one of them has power, though. Neither one of them has knockout power. They both have submissions. So that usually cancels out. So yeah, it seems like the over at minus 120, over 1.5 minus 120 makes sense. Yeah, I'll go with that. I've convinced myself. But I will say I am going with Muniz finish just to lower the odds. So I am going with you, kind of. Kind of. But yeah. Next up. Oh yeah, Wood and Feely. This may seem one-sided on its face, but I'm not going to lie. I'm actually a little bit worried about that because I know how much power Feely has. And I don't know. I mean, Feely's big. He's got huge power. If he lands, a couple of really big ones, it really could throw Wood off because Wood is clearly the smaller person coming up from 145. So, because he's a lightweight now, right? This is lightweight. Oh no, it is. No, wasn't he a 135? Yeah, he was a 135, wasn't I? I'm not going insane, right? Power go boom. Yes. Exactly. And that's what I mean. And Wood has been knocked out twice. Submitted a couple of times. I mean, he's looked so solid all the time though. That's what has me like that's why he is a huge favorite here, minus 213. But I people don't tend to take Feely seriously. I think it's because sometimes he runs into things. And it is, I mean, he fights these bigger guys too. Because he also beat Charles Jourdain, lost to Mitchell, fair enough. No contest, fair enough. Lost in 40 seconds, fair enough. And then he got a split decision win over Bill Algeo. I don't know. It wouldn't be crazy. It would not be crazy to me if Feely won this. So I don't know. And this is why this is a little tougher for me. So I think this one I might end up changing based on my, the watching the tape tonight is probably when I'll do it. So I don't know. This one really could change before I put the article out, but I still gotta go with Wood because again, he's at home. He hasn't really done anything yet that would tell me like, oh, you shouldn't trust Wood. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I'm going with Wood. I gotta go with Wood, and I gotta go decision for sure. So we'll lower it with um, which is fair because the over under is at 2.5. They're heavily favoring the over. So I think I gotta favor Wood decision. That'll be the pick, and then I'll balance that out with the under at plus 183. I think that's probably the way to go with it. But I I I, I will say that I'm not fully sold on Wood over Feely yet. Just because I haven't seen the tape. If it's as convincing as I think it is on paper, then yeah. And normally that would mean like, oh, okay, like you're not sure, then maybe you should go with the underdog. But in this case, it's not that I'm not, I mean, I guess I am not sure, but it's also because I haven't seen the full evidence yet. When I see the tape and I see that evidence that, oh, yeah, okay, Wood really should win this, then that's usually when I get more convinced and put it in the parlays, which, by the way, I also don't have the parlays now, obviously, because, yeah, I haven't assigned anybody their letters yet, except for, of course, Aspinall McCann. There's no way that goes anywhere other than A and B. That's right there. That is it for sure. So yeah, I guess I got to go with Wood decision and balance that out with the under. And how many left now? 2 left, and we already know what's happening there. I mean, come on. You got McCann and Stolyarenko. Stolyarenko, I mean, I don't like saying things like this, but I think we all know it's true. She is one of the worst fighters in the UFC. Like, yeah. She honestly has barely had any good moments in the UFC. Not like never mind wins and like rounds won. It's like she hasn't even had too many good moments. So, yeah, she's going to get absolutely destroyed. There's no way that she's going to be able to get like out grapple McCann even. I would be shocked if she even got into a position that was advantageous over McCann because as soon as she gets close enough, she's probably going to get knocked out right away. So, yeah, I mean, this is a first round KO for McCann, locked and loaded. Truly, that's what I think. Yeah, the goat meatball. Yeah, I think this is a first round KO locked up, ready to go for McCann. So I'm going to lower those odds by saying McCann KO because she's not going to get a submission. Like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, I just can't see that happening. I would be shocked. So, you don't think she'll make weight? Bruh, that would be tragic. Oh, Stolyarenko. Yeah, that would not be surprising. I did actually see somebody post that on Instagram because I actually forgot. Stolyarenko has missed weight quite a bit. She also fights at 135. Now she's trying to make 125. Yikes. Yikes indeed. But as long as I feel like what might happen is they could easily just be like, listen, Molly, Stolyarenko is not going to make 125. Let's do this at 130. McCann will say yes. She'll still get the first round KO, and we're all good. I would not be surprised if that's what happened because I would be a little surprised if she made 125 as well. Maybe. You never know. But anyway, yeah. So we're lowering that with McCann KO, I think. And we will also balance that out with under 1.5. Maybe even could even do McCann in 1 and then balance that out with over 1.5 again. There's a lot that we could do with this one, but I actually feel pretty confident about McCann KO because I just don't see how Stolyarenko gets hit so much. She's not good. Like, yeah, a KO just seems inevitable. So that's the way I'm going to go with it. And as for Aspinall, holy shit, the odds actually lowered. He's at minus 450 right now. Can you believe that? Minus 450. Like, this guy, truthfully, is, I would say, without a doubt, going to be a future champ. Like, he's that good. And we haven't seen shit all from Tybura. How the fuck are the odds this close? That's crazy to me. Minus 450. So, yeah, but we're going to lower those odds even more. Go Aspinall finish. Yeah, but like, and I understand that for on some level. Like, when people said that with Curtis Blades, I was like, yeah, okay. I mean, I guess Blades is decent, but you're talking about Tybura. Like, has he ever in his life, or at least in the UFC, gotten a KO? Like, that's not him. Like, that is not him. He is a heavyweight that gets decisions. That is who Tybura is. He is not a knockout artist. He's not a submission artist. He's not a finisher. He is a I will clinch you until I win this decision. that's that's what he is. So I just can't, you can't really make that argument for this specific fight, I guess. Harris and Hardy. Oh, did he get knockouts over Harris and Hardy? Let me see that. I mean, again, is that really special though? Are you really special for beating Greg Hardy? Because you shouldn't be. Oh, he did. Yeah, he got right. Oh, ground and pound and okay. True. Yeah, ground and pound for both. Ground and pound for Harris and Hardy. Correct. Yeah, but he has lost. But and then of course, what convinced me, I was like, yeah, no, I'm going Aspinall KO all day. Not even finish, just KO. Because Tybura, I remember them talking about him being special in your heart. Really? Oh yeah, of course. Yes, of course. You gotta love to see a Hardy KO, of course. Well, Hardy being KO'd. I know what you mean. Yeah. Fact. But I remember them talking about his jujitsu skills actually before. Tybura. And as for, I mean, we all know Aspinall can get a knockout or a submission. But to me, if I'm Aspinall and over and over, I keep seeing Tybura clinch, takedown, sub attempt, clinch, takedown, blah, 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 all the time for Tybura. If I see that as Aspinall, I'm thinking, oh, knockout, 100%. We're going for the knockout. And of course, that is justified. That's supported by the fact that he was knocked out multiple times. I mean, knocked out in less than a minute by Sakai, knocked out by Abdurakhimov, knocked out by Lewis, knocked out in M1 as well. But yeah, so knocked out 3 times in the UFC. So this just seems like another one where it's like, okay, Aspinall is just going to run in there, get a quick KO. Not even bother with the grappling or anything like that. Get a knockout. I think that's what he's going to do. So to lower these odds, I will be taking Aspinall in 1. So first round Aspinall win. And I will be taking Aspinall KO, I think. I think that's what I'm going to do. And possibly, no, I don't know. Should I balance it out with over 1.5 again for a third bet? Nah, probably not. Probably not. I think Aspinall 1 is a good one. Aspinall KO, fantastic. And then I'm hoping there's like a significant strike one, takedown one. Maybe that would be, you know what? That would be a four bet matchup. I could do Aspinall in 1, Aspinall KO, Aspinall takedown, Aspinall significant strike. And to be honest, I'm pretty sure all 4 of them would count. Would they not? I mean, come on, am I wrong? Is Tybura gonna outstrike Aspinall? Is Tybura gonna get a takedown when Aspinall doesn't? I'd be pretty surprised. But of course, does that mean is Aspinall gonna go for a takedown, which would mean, eh, hmm, hmm, Don't overcomplicate. Yes, true. But when you see matchups like this, when you know, yeah, exactly, you guessing that exactly, and that's how I make these picks. Like, it might sound super specific, but when you actually look at matchups, like, how do you think this is going to go? A lot of the time, there is a pretty clear answer, and a lot of the time, it usually does go that way. So I don't know. I think this might be one of those times where it's like, oh, maybe I could do a 4 bet just because takedown strikes first round and then KO. That's 4. I don't know. I could see it. And then even if somehow Tybura, like maybe he fucking injures himself again, at least I would probably win, like the strike and the takedown thing, hopefully at least. Anyway, yeah. Oh, I guess I could kind of give you some of the parlays, or at least kind of the where I'm going with it anyway. I mean, there's 4 that are very clearly going to be in there. Oh, actually, no. Hold on. 3 that are very clearly going to be in there, and then Ketlin Vieira is somewhere on the edge there. Let's see. Okay, so Aspinall is A. I'm obviously putting him as A. B, I don't know. B should either be Muradov or McCann. It's one of the two. So that's B and C. Muradov and McCann. I guess you could say probably uh Brian Barberena has a slightly better chance of winning, but I don't really see how he's going to do it. But a chance, or I don't know. What's more likely? Molly McCann gets taken down and somehow submitted by Stoliarenko, or at least just controlled and grappling, or Brian Barberena winning. What do you think is more likely? Because I'm not sure at this point, and that'll probably decide B and C. While you figure that out, I will quickly look through the rest of the card to see who else is worth putting in the parlays. Alvarez has got to be in there. Probably Vieira near the bottom. I don't like any of the early fighters. So yeah, Alvarez, yes. Vieira, yeah. Probably Marcos, yeah. Murphy, yeah. Muniz, maybe. Wood, maybe. There's actually a lot. Brian, you think? What do you mean by that? You think Brian has a better chance of winning? Because I'm not sure. I don't know. Because I mean, Molly's grappling just really is not good. So that does scare me. Because what if she just does something stupid and goes to the ground with her and then just gets subbed in some stupid way, And then we're like, what the fuck? Fucking Molly again. Oh, you do think, yeah. I guess because Muradov has also lost to somebody, like lost to Kaio like that. Yeah, okay. I'll take it. McCann is B. McCann is B. Muradov is C. And D through E, D, E, F, and G, maybe even H. I'll figure those out later. Because this is actually a 15 fight card, by the way. This is a long card. There's definite opportunity to get some 8 legs in here, some 6 legs and some 8 legs for sure. Anyway, I'm sure my mom is probably thinking, what the fuck? So we'll hurry this up now. Great stream, great talk. I'll definitely be giving some updates about the game here and there, but nothing for a while. Oh, by the way, you know what? I should really tell you. Oh my God. I actually just realized that. I totally forgot to tell you that. This is actually my last stream for about a month or so. I actually totally forgot to say that. So it's actually fine that we're going over because I won't be streaming for the next 3 or 4 cards because I will be going to my dad's place. I'll be going to my dad's place, which I don't stream from because I don't have any of the equipment there. So it's like if I go there, it's either going to be a monumentally shitty product because I don't have the background, I don't have the computer. I'm using a desktop to do this. So I'd have to use my laptop. And when you add in the program to do this with my laptop, the Wi-Fi there, it has never turned out well, and it's just fucking terrible. So what I will do is, yes, you will see me on Tapology. So what I will do is I will still do the articles, I will still do Tapology, I will still tweet, I'll still do everything else. I'm just not going to be doing this because so that starts next Wednesday because I go there on Tuesday. And that includes all the way until, let's see, I believe it's the Boston card. I believe I come back the Wednesday before Boston. So yeah, it is a while. It is a while for sure. Oh yeah, trust me. I'm enjoying the BMF title. I'm enjoying oh yeah, fuck. The Sanhagen card just got nuked. Nurmagomedov just got fucking yeah, that's right. Yeah, he left. So yeah, that sucks. That was actually going to be a good fight. But yeah, that card, I think there's a couple other good cards in there too thrown in there that are not in the States. I think there's the Singapore Singapore Korean Zombie Holloway, that's going to be fantastic. Oh yeah, Contender Series. Contender Series starts. Tough is over. And no, actually no, Tough won't be over. But they are starting. Oh, Contender Series starts in September. Never mind. Fuck. Power Slap 3. That was the other thing I forgot to tell you. Power Slap 2 was a couple weeks ago. What a fucking weekend. Like truly. Oh, that was the pay-per-view weekend. International Fight Week. No joke. International Fight Week might have been the best week I've ever experienced as a viewer of combat sports because the pay-per-view obviously was wild. Loved it. Loved every second of it. There was also another card that was going on that I saw. I think was it PFL? No. It was something else. That card was great. Oh, one was good. And then on top of that, then there was Power Slap. And I mean, listen, we can talk about the legitimacy of Power Slap and all that. And, it being a real sport and truckers and all that shit. But listen, Power Slap, that card, I'm not even kidding. It was so good and so entertaining and so funny that I was genuinely worried that I was like, "Oh shit, am I going to enjoy Power Slap more than the pay-per-view?" That's actually where it was headed. That's how much I enjoyed Power Slap. No joke. No joke. And I know I'm putting myself out there by saying that, but seriously, I was like, wow, like this might actually be better than the pay-per-view. But no, the pay-per-view is slightly better for sure. But yeah, holy shit, Power Slap was fucking hilarious. This guy was doing because Bisping as a commentator for Power Slap is, I mean, he should never take a Power Slap week off. He never does. I mean, he's been on every card so far, but fuck me, is he hilarious. He is the perfect person to have for that. And then at one point, this one guy was like literally hip thrusting on the ground after he knocked the fuck out of somebody. Oh my God, it was crazy. Yeah. The pay-per-view is slightly better only because it's the UFC, it's MMA. The fights were insanely good. Top to bottom, there were no bad fights. I mean, Power Slap was also top to bottom pretty wild and exciting. But yeah, it's UFC and it's pay-per-view. The vibes, the stories had to win. But yeah, I'm guessing you don't watch Power Slap, and I That's one thing I will never do, and I totally understand. I mean, I've told a couple of friends know I watch Power Slap. My parents know I watch Power Slap. I've showed them a couple of clips here and there. They don't get it. It's okay. I will never fault anybody for being like, "Why don't you like Power Slap?" Like, no, I totally understand. I will never I'm never gonna give anybody shit for not watching it. But I will say you should at least give it a chance 1 or 2 times. Like, just give it a chance, and you'll see what I mean about it being very exciting. Very, very exciting, especially just the whole broadcast because Bisping is we all know how funny how hysterical Michael Bisping is, and he makes the slapping so much better, so much better. So, yeah, the fact that he's in there, much better. And then, of course, the characters, the fights. But anyway, enough about that. That is definitely we are not becoming a Power Slap TV show, that is for sure. I would watch it, why not at this point? Yeah, I think well, actually, you know what you could do? Um, because Power Slap it literally was just on a couple weeks ago. Check out the card. Go to rumble.com, check it out a little bit, see what I'm talking about with Bisping, and see what I'm talking about with a couple of the fights on that card. Because, like I'm saying, this one guy starts hip thrusting the ground, and it was one of the funny, truly, the refs started laughing. That's how fucking funny this was, how entertaining and absolutely out of his fucking mind this guy. If the refs start laughing, the commentators start laughing, you know you got some quality stuff in here. So, I mean, again, I'm not trying to oversell it. It's not everybody's thing, but if you want to check it out, go watch that last card, rumble.com, see what it's like. And then, yeah, there's going to be one next month, I know they said. And then I believe when the UFC goes to Abu Dhabi, Abu Dhabi, they will do the second season of the show with Europeans and Asians, which is going to be crazy because I've seen these Americans slap, but I've seen clips. Oh, you must go now too. Yeah. I'm just gonna finish off the thought and then I'm heading right off too. But yeah, I've seen Americans do this slapping stuff, mostly on Power Slap, but I have seen clips here and there of Eastern Europeans doing slapping. Bruh. Like they will knock somebody's head. Like, I mean, it is wild, wild the power that these Europeans have and the durability. I mean, you could think they're fucking knocked out and they just stand up like the Terminator. It is crazy to watch. So I would imagine as soon as Power Slap goes to Power Slap season 2 and then these Europeans come in and fight each other, holy shit. It's going to be unreal. I truly, I mean, again, I know, I understand. I understand people don't like it, but give it a chance. And if you like it, you're going to absolutely fucking love it. But yeah, so definitely give it a chance. Give it a chance for sure. And I mean, Anthony Smith talks about it constantly. He loves it. He's actually been a celebrity guest, a judge, a ref of some of these, a celebrity judge he was in a couple of these. So, I love Anthony Smith. That's my man. And I mean, I connect with him even more now because he loves the Power Slap. That's true. So yeah. Anyway, yes, for sure now. Oh, and I can't even say I'll see you next week. I will see you at the end of August. Sad that I won't be here, but that's just the way it is. Sucks. It'll be nice to have a break. I'll have a lot more time to work on the game, so hopefully I can get really, really a lot deeper into it and a lot more done. I don't know if I'd be able to show anybody any clips, maybe even just on the stream one time, just be like, hey, look for like 30 seconds. This is what it looks like anyway. But yeah, no, we'll call it a month now. Area 51 has got you covered for the other sports, even though we've established nobody's paying me. That's okay. They're nice people. You can go check them out. Hopefully we finish off the streams here for a month with a nice win. Be nice to get another win here. We haven't been doing much winning, just basically breaking even. meeting the family next week, which is neat. Oh, that's scary, actually. Good luck with that. That's always nervous, brings the nerves out. But yeah, I will hopefully enjoy my dinner. I'm sure she's going to say something now about me being super late. So I will see you next time, which will be for, I think, like I said, before the Boston card at the end of August. I'm struggling to find my, you can see me just scrolling down trying to find my fucking thing here. Now I found it. I will see you then. Thanks for watching.